Yes, people, good evening, good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Let me welcome you to this another Saturday Press Roots, a Saturday evening. And I'm sure that many of you actually are buzzing, can't wait for your favorite games. Yes, a lot of friendly going on, people. Presently, I know that Liverpool and Manchester United playing out there in was it California or Carolina, one of those state people. And at presently, 57 minutes gone, Liverpool leading 2 goals to nil. And of course, this is called Rivals in Red. That's the name of the game. Earlier, Man City, I believe, would have beaten Chelsea 4-2, and so on and so forth. But guess what? Tonight's show will be short, and I hope it could be short and spicy too. And I want to again welcome all the first time viewers with us tonight. We really want to look at people. How will Steve McClaren take the Reggae Boys to the next World Cup? In my view, people, there should be no excuse at all if anything outside of what we believe should happen. Really and truly, people, there should be no excuse for Jamaica not to go into the World Cup. Absolutely no excuse. And saying that to say, having a coach of McLaren's status, yes, and the caliber of players I believe that the Reggae Boys have presently, I don't think, yes, I don't think we really have a safe passage or a sure passage to the World Cup. But one thing I'm sure, it shouldn't be that difficult. Bless up yourself, Pessoa. Pessoa, how you stay? You know, I drop on a link tonight. Yeah, man. See the link in the chat already there. All right. So bless up yourself, man, as you come in. But Pessoa and company, what's your take now? McLaren has named as the coach, and interestingly, people, what I've heard from the boss himself, Mr. Mike Ricketts, president of the JFF, he said McLaren would not be taking a huge backroom staff. A matter of fact, he only be taking one assistant coach with him, and that assistant coach happened to be his goalkeeper coach as well. What say you? Am I to understand that the Reggae Boys right now only need assistance in the goalkeeping department? We don't need an attacking coach. We don't need a defensive coach in terms of the assistant. So, with the experience that McLaren has, people, I suspect that he is banking on his experience, yes, to be the man that take all the different aspects of the game. So then, there's no need, absolutely no need, for any other assistant other than a goalkeeper coach. I wonder if he has done the background work. Yes, because that is what I am saying. He must have been looking on probably through clips or getting some information as it relates to what we have and our deficit as a team for him to make such a decision. Or it's based on the negotiation of salaries. Because if he is to travel with three or another two or three assistants, then of course I guess the JFF pocket will be in some trouble if it is not already in a better spot of bother. So that's just my take. Why is it that only an assistant as it relates to goalkeeper coach? Yes, that's what I would like to know, people. What say you? Now, if that is not the case, or should I say, if that is the case, then I am sure as night follow day that we will be having the continuation of a Jamaican being the assistant coach. I believe it's a partnership, people, that, you know, good night, Naka, what's going on? Blessings. I believe really it's a partnership or it's a collaboration that the JFF would have said, whichever coach comes in over the past couple of seasons or, let me say, state, should use one of our local coach. And maybe that's in the sense that that coach will learn as he go along. I wonder though if we'll have a change as it relates to the assistant. I wonder if Mr. Miran Garden, who was the assistant coach to Hal Grimson, He has not resigned and he has not been fired. But I wonder if he will remain, if he will continue as one of the assistants, or the JFF will make changes. My guess is as good as yours. What say you? All right, Surly, big up yourself. So, like and share everyone. Thank you very much. Yeah, man, you have to like up the channel, people. Yes, like it up and share the channel. So far, we got, come on, people. We need some like. We need some like. All right. So, people. So I know you're man full of information. You have a man, you're a guy who have a lot of information, on-time information and true information. What's your take on the issue of Mclaren coming with just one assistant, which is a goalkeeper coach? Or can we safely say that goalkeeper coach has the ability to be a out and out assistant coach? Not because he is an assistant, he's a goalkeeper, he can't be an assistant. Let's up, Mr. Lee. Yes, boss. Be careful, you know. Remember, so you have to leave some of them things left away. Yes, sir. Hey, people, a very interesting match going on. Liverpool 3, Manchester United 0. All right. That's practice game anyway. So, yeah, people, that's what I'm saying. Now, it has been touted, yes, that if, I don't know if you heard this, it's not something that was widely spread, but what I gathered is said that um, if the JFF never landed a coach for this August 1st, then they believe that the assistant coach in Mclaren Garden would be responsible for the team in the matchup against Cuba on September 6th. Yes, yes, that's our request coming from Pessoa. Uh, Good coach. World Cup is the ultimate. I care zero about backroom staff, in my opinion. Yes, I understand that, Pessoa, but tell me true. You are telling me that just the presence of the coach will take us through to the World Cup? We don't need any assistant. He doesn't need any help. You think we have what it takes to take us there without, yeah? Or should I just look at it and say, boy, is that a coach we need now? It's just some committed players. Tell me. But as I say, coaching is such a big thing these years. I mean, if you look in the leagues and other international teams, you find that coaches or teams have three, four assistant for different purpose. Yes, but that's what I'm saying. So in this light now, big up the man them, big up yourself, Conrad. Yeah, man. So in what I'm simply saying, I was expecting at least two assistant people. Yes, I was expecting at least two assistant based on what we are seeing. For example, I am hoping that the first fix that Mclaren will do or try is to fix our midfield. The midfield is atrocious, people. We don't have a midfield that we can depend on. We're not seeing the creativity coming from the midfield. We're not seeing the midfielders a holding or some midfielders that can stand up and take the pressure off our defenders. Because Mr. Lowe can't work, Mr. Lowe is not a central midfielder rather. You get what I'm saying? It worked in a particular game, and that's how it is. I would have understand what Hal Grims would have seen then, but somehow I believe he should have withdrawn or shouldn't continue with Lowe in the midfield. It's a joke thing. So we need a fix. And the fact that Mclaren is a midfielder, maybe he believes that as a midfield man himself, as a player under experienced coach, then he will try his very best. All right. So that's what I'm looking at. All right. Conrad is saying that at Pessoa. Oh, you're on family, bro. All right. Listen. So that's where we're gonna be. I hope we could have another coach tonight to, give us his view. Still looking out. I've not gotten the confirmation yet. But people, this is where we are going now. And it is very big news in world football. Steve McClaren left Manchester United to pick up the Jamaica job. Big news in the world. And I guess one of the things is a lot of persons in Europe probably looking would have thought that Mclaren would have gone to Nigeria. But the JFF has pulled this one off. Let me say thumbs up to JFF. We beat them, Yes. And you know how I beat JFF. I don't beat JFF in negative any at all. I just thought the things them that I believe need to straighten up on what they are to do. Yes. But we have said a lot of things. And the fact that they could have, be, what did I say now, contended with a higher, bigger giant in football. And Nigeria is far bigger than Jamaica, if you ask me. In terms of not just size of population of country, but in terms of football, in terms of players, I think Nigeria is way above us. Yes, so, and I think they have the resources too. Maybe, I mean, it's a lot going on in that type of country. I don't know. I mean, some people, take of what Hal Gribbs said recently. I don't think he was comfortable, yes, in Jamaica. knowing, listening to certain crime situations. But that's just the nature of it, people. And we have to understand that everywhere you go, you have these conditions, and how you deal with them is another story. So I'm expecting that JFF will provide that level of platform, yes, for coach to really have a very comfortable landing. And I mentioned in one of these shows, people, they have to be making the coach comfortable. I can't carry a coach from a first world country to a third world country and expect him to live like us. And I'm not saying living like us meaning that we are living substandard. I'm just saying he must be living at least where he's coming from. And when I say living, don't get me wrong, I'm talking about just accommodation, I'm talking about everything that surrounds the whole football program, the levity of the football program, yes, the movements, the traveling and all of that needs to be important. The security, I don't get this one wrong, the security is very, very important, people. All right, Conrad, yes, you say that. Yes, that they said I told some of these guys that host YouTube channel, they thinking the man is not good. We are saying that they don't think Mclaren is good. Oh yes. Listen, one of the things is, people, and I said this earlier. If it was my decision, people, personally, I believe that we could have gotten a coach. Yeah. Maybe a younger coach, not in terms of just age, but even with experience, who could have brought this team to the World Cup. Yes. I say that to say because my understanding, when I calculate what it takes, or what will they say now, the funds that it will take for us to take care of Mclaren and his coaching staff, that sort of money per year could have gone into far much more development as in for our football. You get what I'm saying? So I wouldn't take on a Mclaren per se because of what it would cost us. Knowingly, we don't have to pay so much to do well. That's just my take. But fine now, he is the one. And I believe that he has the capability to do all these things. He has the capacity. Yes? Yes, Fergie, what's up? Let's up yourself, man. I thought a coach would come with his own team, including assistants, which means all requirements to succeed is included. Very good point, Fergie. That's my view, boss. Yes? But then, maybe what you have seen is much more comfortable knowingly what he has. He doesn't need a lot of, people in the backroom staff. Big up yourself, first responder. Yeah, man. Blessings and good night. Yes. All right. Like Jamaica, we're a big team. Big team, yes. Yes, people. Speed will do better this time. All right. You think so? I think and one of the things is just a speed will do better. I'm not just saying speed, but I think the JFF can't get any worse, people. JFF, this situation that we have in, those mishap, I don't think it can get any worse. People, say, me not like when I go on our show. I like when I go on show. Like up the channel, man. Trust me. That's all me ask, I like up the channel. Suppose me one of them people who tell us if we send on some elephant and some hat and all them things. We're going to start maybe when we send that instead of the likes. Where's the speed thinking about the future? In terms of what though, Conrad? I don't. I'm not sure if I understand or I believe what you're saying, because I say this to say this coaching assignment, I don't think it has much of a development or a futuristic thing. It is, well, future, yes, it is the near future or the short term future, because it's all about going to the World Cup. If we go to the World Cup, people, and the next year we're gonna have a shape, it seems like we're fine because we have been to the World Cup. That's the plan, and that's okay, no? Because a lot of money will get into the JFF. The JFF will earn a lot of money just by making it to the World Cup. So I can understand that. It's a short term thing. Yeah, man, big up. All right. So as Fergie saying and what I am saying, most time coaches move with their backroom staff people, meaning they come and everything has to hit the ground running. With this sort of development people, I'm not sure that this is something that will be able to hit the ground running, because will Steve McClaren understand or trust, let's say, a Mclaren Garden as an assistant? Yeah, maybe the background work that he has done or the history, whatever it is, maybe he's comfortable knowing that Mclaren can do, a lot. So he doesn't need to bring all that people. Or maybe he just want to ensure, say, listen, no, man, as far as I see, this money can stretch, so may I work with what Jamaica have. Maybe it's a good thing. Just maybe it's a good thing. I think he's taking one coach. Yes. And he said it's what I might understand is a goalkeeper coach, Conrad. But if it is a goalkeeper coach, this is what I'm saying. And this is what drives me. If he just come up with and say one assistant, fine by me, a little bit, I still would have concern about one. Yes. But for just a goalkeeper as the assistant coach, I have a little concern there. Just a little concern. So really, we ask them. They should have given the coaching job to Mclaren and save a lot of money. Sally, you serious? Hey! Sally, so they should have given a coaching job to Mclaren. Do you think Mclaren really have that capacity, really, Sally? Yeah? Me don't know. Because me rate Mclaren away, but me not feel say Mclaren would have managed a job there. Not anymore. Yeah? Not anymore. But that's just me. Brother, just making it to the World Cup and then nothing is truly a waste of time. It would no lesson learned from 1998. Very good point, Fergie. But you know what happened though, Fergie? I believe this time around, once we make it to the World Cup, we'll have a lot more. Yes? There will be a lot more. I don't think we're going to just fall off like 98, because, number one, I think the football in the country has developed somewhat. It's more interest in football, maybe at a lower level, maybe. But, at this stage, football is wider now, I believe, than before. And with social media and so on, which brings it a little closer to all of us, I believe that we'll do better. And I think that Jamaica, I think that we still have the concerns of the development. I think we need to. And if you notice though, as much as a lot is not being put in people, we are substandard as it relates to our youth teams. But, taking it now, for example, as it is, the under 17 has been preparing for a while now. The under 17 just went to, is it Florida? I think they just came back from Florida where they play, I think, 2 games. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot going on in terms of preparation. Unfortunately, what happened with the under 20, again, people, we can't continue this way, but I believe that there is still a lot more. I think the under 17 now, maybe this is the team they're looking for the future to keep together. Just maybe. So let's see what happens. I was just saying to somebody this afternoon, I don't understand why the under 17 were on tour. Mark, it's not a tournament per se competitively, but there's nothing coming out of the JFF about it. Yes. So I don't know. Maybe it's a hide and seek thing, and so on. The goalkeeper coach probably better than Mclaren. Yes. Maybe he's an experienced coach too, but just major as a goalkeeper coach. Who knows? So that's what I'm saying. It is highly possible that is a very experienced assistant or a goalkeeper coach. All right. You're funny. All right. Conrad, the U17 look good. Yes. And I tell you the truth, I'm getting some good information out of that U17. The program looks good. If the JFF is serious to continue and don't fool around. But I will tell you this, it is the head coach who really is pulling the strings, people. I don't care what everybody wants to say, but I think the head coach is the one pulling the strings for the under 17. Yeah, man. I want to get some information on that very, very soon, too. All right. I think JFF will go with Joby McClaren for assistant. There's a lot of talk about it. There's a lot of talk about Joby McClaren being the assistant coach for Steve McClaren. But, and if this is the case, is Joby McClaren a goalkeeper coach? Because if that is the one he's taking, I don't know. Or is it that the JFF has landed some other employment or engagement of other coaches for assistants? I don't know. Just saying. Mclaren is a good coach and very lucky. Well, really and truly, I think he's a good coach. But I mean, I really want to depend on the luck this time around, But yeah, man. I think he has, if he not learn nothing over the past couple of years an assistant with Sir Grimson, even though I think him and Grimson shared a sort of playing style. Yes. No quota system, suppose in the U20 and U23. Yeah, this quota system, listen. Boy, I'm going to reserve my thought on the quota system. I don't talk much about it. I reserve my view right now, and I will say something in another forum. But I'm going to put it this way. For me, this quota system is a joke. That's it for me. And I will expand on that later on. Yes, Fergie. Are we aware of JFF objectives? This is where we are not seen eye to eye. Yeah, no structure, boss man. Development program appears to be still lacking. Why, Fergie, you couldn't say it any better, We're not getting the aims and objectives. We're not getting any communication out of the JFF. And one of the things is, people, and I'm saying this because the JFF now has not just what they used to call them again, not just a media personnel with them, yes, but they have a a social media page, and one of our own YouTuber is linked with them. He's the man who bringing all this information. But for some strange reason, we're not getting the information that is important, people. JFF leave us too many times, too often to speculate and to form our own opinions. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, man, local coaches. And I really want to see our local coaches develop, people. I really want that. And I would love for them to get the different exposure and experience. Chris, Joby McClaren is more qualified than all the local coaches. Joby worked with the English FA. It would be great if we could get him as an assistant coach. Wow. For real? I saw Joby go. All right, because I don't know much about his experience though. So, as you may mention, he's qualified, but is he experienced? I don't know. But as you may mention, he worked with the English FA. At what level? At what level he works with the English FA? Help me out on that one, Chris. All right. What is the quota system? Conrad, you want to take that on, Conrad? What is the quota system? Or Pessoa? I want to lick left or right on the quota system. Fergie, I don't want to touch it for two reasons. Two reasons I don't want to touch it. First reason, personally, I reserve my thing, but I'm going to explain later. As I said, the quota system, in my view, is a joke. That's one. And the other one, I'm still not going to say it. All right? All right. Jamaica is waiting, I guess, wasting money on big name coach. We just don't have the talent to reach World Cup. No, Mr. Lee. I disagree with you, Lee. I disagree with you. We have the talent, man. We say we don't have no talent, bro. We have the talent, man. A guidance we need. And we need guidance at all levels. That's what we need, bro. I mean, we don't have the talent. We have some of the finest players right now playing on the world stage. It's just to get the chemistry together. And that's why you need a very good coach. Experience with exposure. And I'm not saying that Steve is the man or is the best choice. That's not what I am saying. But I don't think talent is a problem. We don't have the coaches locally or the players. Chris, yeah, all right. We might not have the coach or the players collectively, yes, but you can find a one or two coaches or and a few players who can meet. As me saying, people, if you don't give people the experience, if you don't give people the opportunity, they will not gain experience. Yes, so our local players who need, get the best of the best from the local fraternity, depending on the positions that the needs are, and we train them, we coach them, we give them that international experience. That's what they want. I understand, but the quick fix, as it is, just to go to the World Cup, it's gonna be difficult because we're not playing the standard of football or the standard of play, both physically and psychologically, people, for us to play at the highest level here in Jamaica. So that's my thing. But we have local players who we can carry to the speed, man. The JFF need to cut out the quota system in the JPL. Only 5 young can be on a team. Yeah, man. Them to trust me, people. It is tough. Hello, 15-7. So Conrad, yeah, 15-7. So you're saying that 7 local, 15 overseas. That's what you're saying, Conrad. Talk to Fergie. Fergie want to know. Joe be well respected in football in England. Over 600 games as a player from EPL, yeah, to the Championship to League One. Which EPL team Joby played for? Yeah, which EPL team Joby McCann played for? What them name again? Help me out there, son. No left we half stand, Mr. Man. Conrad Smith, this show is about the senior, no U17, no U20, no U20 reasoning here. Yeah, man, and as you're right, so as me say, a straight World Cup, them I think about. But I think there's a little thing going on with U17, as I mentioned, but I want to see how far it will go. Conrad, Paul Hall, thinking 15 locals and 5 abroad. You see, a Paul Hall come with this together, and I mean, me understand where that come from, but then again, people, it was just a suggestion. We never have to bite, but let's go. All right. At live Smith coming from Pessoa. You chat too much. you you know nothing about JPL, about 5 young players. Shit, man. All you do come on YouTube chat rubbish. Listen, no bother with that. We're not sorry for that. I should never read it when I post it. People, we don't really want to go down the level the boss. All right. We really want to take it and step at a time. We don't really want to cut class. Let us have some, sober discussion. We understand the little bantering, yes, but go keep it clean. All right, banter and keep it clean. Yes, my boss. All right. Horace, good evening, sir. Just tuning in. Yeah, man. Bless up yourself as usual, Horace. National team is not for exposure. The best team must play no matter where they are playing. Christopher, listen to what I am saying. The exposure I'm talking about, big man, and the experience. I'm not saying you're going to carry them into competition. But during preparation, we need to include them. We need to find our best players. And so giving them the opportunity so they can excel, yes, they can at least get a chance to be looked at by scouts from overseas clubs. It's important, you might not think so, I wonder if you remember the days, and I'm not sure how it goes now. Jamaicans could never get a contract unless Jamaica is at a particular level in the FIFA ranking. You remember them days, eh? I wonder if you don't know that. So a player coming from Jamaica, people, luckily if he get a contract, especially in Europe, Jamaica would have to be, what them say, below 75 in the FIFA ranking, round about there. Trust me. So the exposure and experience is important. Not just for not in tournaments, sir, but preparation. Is this present team is more talented than the team that went to World Cup? You know, so me I go tell you yes. Me I'll get battering for this, but let's discuss it. Let's get it. This team, this present crop of players, people, holistically, are far talented, better talents than what went to World Cup 98. Might take that. I mean, I'll take it back. Yeah, man, serious. We have more talent. And if you want to take them player for player, let's go. So we have more talent, boss. What we have then was some mature players, some players that were serious and the whole selling. Remember, I know that was one of the first drive we're going to the World Cup. You know, so everybody were pump up, you know. Pump up. It's like under steroid, mental steroid. All right, so we're gonna take up that with Paul. He's not here anymore. All right. Lee, very good question. Yes, man, it's a good question, but I can tell you we have more talent right here than what we have in World Cup 98 or in that squad. Trust me. Job is a non-executive director on the England FA board. Okay, all right. Have whole heap of weight, man. So yes, with that would be a very good thing. All right. Job used to play Reading in the EPL. Yes, that's it. That's the team that I'm talking about. All right. We just couldn't remember them. All right. Thank you very much, Chris. Mr. Lee, the players back then are different from nowadays anyway. All right. Come on, the 90s thinking. Oh boy, yes, for sure. Mr. Saad, it's hard to compare. Yes, it's hard to compare, but we're talking about talent. Don't tell me you can't compare talent. You may can compare team, but you can't compare talent, people. And that's why people keep having this wide discussion over with Pele versus Maradona, Messi versus Ronaldo, yeah, or Ronaldo versus original, yeah, R9. People having those, but if you're gonna compare them, what makes it difficult? You're gonna look at how they play, the position they play, and all of that, and then it's very difficult to compare. But talent for talent in positions, you telling me no that the 98 team, our players were far talented than these players? No, man, we have much more talent now than ever. Yeah, preparation was a major thing for France 98. Very good point that. Of course, we were prepared. We had listen, we have a nucleus of players preparing for over 3 years with that 98 team. That is the thing, you know. And one coach. Look how many coaches we have around about in the past World Cup and campaign and now. Yes? So that is the major thing to people. Most of the players that goes overseas now don't need the national team to move it. Move. It's a greater push, and more players are going to move now with the Y Scout stats. Yes, Chris, but what I'm just simply saying is that if we had that situation now, tell me what would happen. You get what I say? So differently, I mean, for you to get that contract, not just the contract in the people, but I think it has to do with work permits and all of those things. Not remembering everything to the T, but that was this type of situation that we had. Remember, but we don't have money. My God. Back then, talent is different. What is it different now? Yes, Horace. All right. Back then, 1998 talent is different from now. What is different with that talent? How many creative midfielders we had in 1998? Yes? How many creative midfielders do we have now? How many attacking prowess? Yes? Live wires we had 1998. How many do we have now? So you can compare, and again, it all depends on what you're looking for. And I understand what you're saying, but then talent is different to some extent, but talent is talent, bro. Talent is not much different. If a man is skilled and can move the ball a particular way, if a man can control, if a man can hit this ball, if a man can pass it inside out, it's the same talent. No, me can't compare with Arita. I don't know nothing about singing. So tell me the CDM better than Peter Cargill you have now. All right. Fine, you would have hit me now. The CDM would be better. I don't think you have a calmer one. I don't think you have a better one than Peter then, to be honest with you. So you might find that one right here. So Cargill would have been the man. Step up. Far outplayed any other midfielder that we have. But I want you to tell me this now. And this is the problem we have with this center midfield thing. That's why I have a problem with midfield. Which of these players we have as midfielders, people, who came into the setup as defensive, were playing defensive midfield for their clubs? Tell me, which of these players who we see we have a play defensive midfield came to Jamaica or leaving, going to the Reggae Boyz setup and were playing defensive midfield for the clubs? So the coach have the people who play them all around the place. So if you want a defensive midfielder, get a defensive midfielder. That's my point. But that's true. Cargill probably was the best and will be probably the better one for a long time. We continue to give local coaches a chance. What Jamaica football got out of that? You see, Chris, there's a lot of way to look at it. I remember we went to 2 different Youth World Cup. Remember that? Who were those coaches? Yeah? Who were those coaches? Remember also, we went to the Senior World Cup and we have local coaches, or assistant coaches. So what we got out of it? So I understand over the past couple of years, local coaches have not done much. But the truth is not so much the local coaches I'm going to beat in Virgin for these performances. The JFF. If you carry the best coach come at Jamaica, people, and there's no time for preparation, there's no preparation going to tournaments, you think them can win? How will they perform? You just pick up team, Bridging. So I understand, and I will never ever say that right now I don't think we have any local coach right now who can take the thing at a senior level and move with it. I don't think so. But I think you have pockets of coaches who can make a difference. And it's good that, they kept Miran Garden as one of the assistants. So he will learn. Big man, you can't sit down and just learn. You can't learn by your computer as a coach. You have to in the field. And if we are Jamaica, we're not coaching at the highest level, we are going to have a problem. You remember it was Bolton that Carl Brown went to for a little stint. When he came back, it was a different Carl Brown. Different Carl Brown. All right. These players better than 98. Remember, Tapper and Walter Boyd went to League 2 and failed, got sent back to the JPL. You see, one of the things is, and good critique point this, Chris, Theodore at the time was our little fancy man at the midfield. You remember them, twist and turn from Theodore. Good. We have a whole lot of players who can do this now at Jamaica, in a Jamaica setup. I'm probably doing it now on a higher scale than Theodore. As you mentioned, where they played. And if you're going to use talent and better talent, we have to be careful of where we go with it, because we can say, boss, who played at the highest level. All right? Certainly, you say, no, sorry, I don't. So, all right, I understand, no problem, Lee. Good. But it is what it is, brethren. It is what it is. Tapa Cargill does. Yeah, what are you talking about those? Good players, yes. Listen, Daz weren't an exceptional baller, brother. And remember too, When Daz made the Jamaica team, people, the best of Daz was a centre forward. How many of you remember that? And at one stage, now really bring him in and put him as centre midfield. And at one stage, he was sweeping. You remember? You remember Christopher Daz sweeping at one stage? Yeah, man. So it happened. We don't have nothing now. Lee, I think you're very you're very harsh. But that's fine. Sometimes Andy Bama Williams. Just an example, yeah? No problem. No problem. Watford Reading Joby. Yeah. All right, respond that. Blessings. Travis, Peter Cargill, all him do turn back the ball, loan back pass, him no good. No, I'm not gonna say that. He was an excellent D mid. Markio, he used to break up a lot of plays too, although him look slow. Yeah, man. The man used to calm the game and dictate the pace. That's what sometimes center midfield. But talking about that, with Peter Cargill and his style, do you think you'll be able to do all of that? Play this slow center midfield role? No, in today's fast running football. So again, the comparison may be different. Compare players to players, sad. All right. Call your players the name, Mr. Lee. Since that you want, call your player's name and we got continue on that. We were not good 1980 until the English players came. Remember, before they came, we were bottom of the table. Six love from Mexico and 3 from Costa Rica. The English players save us. Oh boy, listen, that one I rubbed in, you know. Chris, you're not wrong, you know. And I was trying to tell the people in the other day, the same thing come up, you know. Remember, we were struggling. We were actually, remember, we moved from first round, but when we get to the six, yeah, the hexagonal stage, remember that. That's where we started to struggle. That's when. And when we got the English-based players first came in, there was some stability. You remember Fitzroy Simpson, yeah? Who had that wonderful left foot, could pick out that pass to Paul Hart and to Dan Burton. Remember, these were changing. These were game-changing players and game-changing situations during that campaign. We have done well prior to that hexagonal role. And I want to say this, and I just true because many of you wouldn't understand or follow it closely. But there were many other English players, you know, people who we had an interest in. And at that time, we just couldn't get them because we never have the power, we never have the know-how to convince all of these players who think they will be able to make to England. Yeah, I should never follow it up. But yeah, man, quite a number of players. We faster now, stronger on football, change a lot of. If Peter was playing now, he would have a lot of trouble. You're right, Smith. No, man, that's serious thing. With the pace and the row, people are rushing and the pressing. Peter couldn't manage, man. Trust me. Remember, Peter had serious problem with Mexico early on. You know? Peter couldn't do nothing against Mexico because the Mexicans were running people. Don't forget that. Remember the games that we struggled. Yeah? Chris, those matches were lost. We're away from home. For us, regardless, you know, boss. Regardless, they lost away from home. What we are saying is that, and remember all of that, you know, we were 1-0 winners of many games, even at home. The Dan Burton factor. Yes, we won game before they came, all 1-0 margins. Which were the teams that we were winning before they came? René Simoes, yes, said at the time the local players can't qualify us. He went to get the players from England because we were in trouble. We know that. Trust me on that. That was a really thing. Conrad, I keep on saying football has changed. Yet it has changed a whole lot, I believe. So, but talent change? The game, yes, have changed somehow, but talent is always there. Making the World Cup is a mandate from the sponsors. Improved sponsorship is the result. Good point, first responder. Clive, tell me the left back better than Bibi. No. Listen. You see, that is another thing, you know, people. I'm going to use one point, Clive. Here's another point. When Bibi playing for Jamaica, and those who knew Bibi playing in Harbourview can correct me. A national team, Bibi can play left back, you know. And you must also remember, playing left back in 1998 for the national team, they were using a 5-3-2 formation. You remember that? 5-3-2. Both left back that Jamaica had that were looking and flying high. Prior to Bibi was Gregory Messam. Before he got injured, that's how Bibi came in. But what Messam used to do is as soon as he pick up this ball just off the halfway line or over the halfway line, is to swing it across people. And it's the same thing Bibi came and so the left back then, playing left back in a 5-3-2 formation is totally different people from playing left back in a 4-4-2 or 4-3-3. It's different. In a 5-3-2 left back, you have the license of going forward. It's only Clap Missy play 4-3-3 left back and him bring back them have license to go forward. But I'm just saying it was a different formation then, and they're different ask for those left back. Yeah. So again, Bibi made it a very big thing, coming as a left back and did well. Exceptional because he had talent. Bibi is a midfielder attacking for player. No? When Bibi playing Manning Cup, he was an attacking player. When he played for Harbourview, he was an attacking player. So getting to a wing back, people, 5-3-2, you think you'd have done well as that attacking player now 4-4 or 4-3-3 or 4-4-2? No. They're a different set of game. So, yes, we can always talk about that. Fine, good point. But the reality is there were two different sets of play, two different formation, and so on. Mr. Sadi, Jackie Walters, coach 1999, under 17 and Dunswell, 2001, under 20, and 2011, under 17. Yeah, man. So, as me I say, no, Bridget, we had Jamaicans coaches have success going to the World Cup. That's the point I was making earlier when somebody said that Jamaican coaches are good. All right. Not only you are put the point out, you name and make me clever. You're the one putting the point out. So you put it out and we work along with that. All right. Tapa and Boyd played for Swansea and Hull City in Division 3. Pepe and Tapa played for Hull City. What division again? All right. So again, people, let's see if we can coin all of these. And I'm not saying that these players were good. That's why they played Division 3. No. They used to call me Turner once. I don't understand that. Why? Give me some more about that, Conrad. All right. Chris saying, Ironhawk, we don't talk about the Brazilian coach that helped big time with the under 17 and under 20 at the time. No, listen, you see, you're going this way again, but was he the head coach, my boss? And we understand that. And then that same Brazilian coach come back to the national team and could not, move anything. But again, you're right. The system was there. There was a system that was in place. The preparations were in order. Unlike now. All I do, turn and look good. I think so at time. Conrad. Yeah, man, a selfish like a ball of you. The only local player from 98 make it to top level was Bibi. The only one. And you talk local players, right? Because Robbie Hurl and those guys, where they used to play, Wimbledon and yeah. So listen, we had a lot of players who some of us don't even remember from England, and which level they were playing at. All right. Chris Smith. It was Jackie Walters guided in 99. Yes, Simoes fumbled his way and pushed Walters away. Yeah, one thing, you're serious, boy. Your Jamaican players are coaches. Yeah, man, and they went to the MLS for real. Bama was a true talent, man. Mhm. Football is much different now from 98. Far different. May I agree with that. All right. Uh, Grant was 50 years old and him do good. Which Grant? Help me out. Me last this up. Burton. All right. Mr. Sadi, it was Simoes' fault why we got 6 from Mexico. Remember, we defeated El Salvador before they came. What was the fault of Simoes? He changed the team, never played the system that he normally play. Listen, one thing I can tell you, no, Bridget. One time we go to Mexico, go create an impact. Then, one time, just remember, when Walter twined up and back up the net, but we lost 2-1. Yeah, man. Hey, remember in that period, a very few teams go down a Mexico and come out without 3 love. You know? Remember that, you know? Okay. But check again, Jackie Walters did a good job. But the Brazilian coach played a major role, not Rene. But I'm not, the text never run fast. Respect, man. I like this. We also got a nil draw against Canada on the road. We lost 3-1 to Costa Rica, and the Williams scored. Yeah, full of stats, you know, my brother. At Sadi Chris. Tired to hear about 98. At 24, move on. All right, you have to tell the people in that bridge. We can't leave them high and dry. We are move on. We want to break down more of what we believe will happen. Remember 1999, they call up all local based team. Walter Boyd, Cargill, Tapa, Pepe, all of them, and we got 9 love. They didn't call the British players. Captain came out and said, we can't do without the English. That's so much things good on, man. We never remember in school line. So everyone forget that the US held us nil all at home. Simoes mess up the team against Mexico where we got 6. All right. That's how you go in a bridge. Okay, coach now go do it all the time. Errors are gonna make and so on. Dan Burton scoring 4 straight games plus Paul Hall goal against El Salvador. Andy Williams scored against Costa Rica and El Salvador back to back. Gardner, he probably the best player we ever had. It's oh boy. Would you say the best player, the most successful player? Let's look at it that way. I don't know. That's just my take. Chris Smith. The English players came into the team just as how you left Jamaica and visited another country. They came into a system. All right, we want to continue. I remember all the players are coming. We're going back to 2024 episode. Let me just read through all of these. All right, I remember all the players from England, British style football. Curtain Boss, yes, British style football won't work for us. We are more a skillful and pace country. Yes, I am serious. He did it with Bertis Bell with the 98 U20. All right, Torres. Yes, change the team. That played against US. All right, so this is the last one we're going to touch on, then we move back to where we were. Rene Simoes said at the time, we won't qualify if we don't get help because the local players took us to where they can and need help to take us. Of course, that is true. That is true. Yes, big deal. Steve McClaren play English Dutch football. All right, good point. Good point. Cataract cruising, Cousin Grant. He was really good for his age. He could have taught some of those young players a lot. All right. Final one from 98 people. Final one. All right. 1998, none of the English players didn't play Shell Caribbean Cup. Only local players and won the Shell Caribbean Cup. Qualified 2000 Gold Cup and the English players fumbled. All right. You see the point that we're making now, or else it will go defeat. The point that we are going to stick it. If you want to put it that way. It kind of, it's like you push against your own thing. Remember, you know, Shell Caribbean Cup. Who were playing against? Only the Caribbean people in Bass. So it was Caribbean to Caribbean. We're not going into Central America. to play against El Salvador. You understand me? I say so they were able to compete at that level, and that's where we were. That's how we started, and we were able to beat all those teams. All right. Robbie Earl, hold them. We have legend that play for us. Robbie Earl was a legend in the EPL. Marcus Gale. Yes, for real. That's why I tell us we don't talk a lot of these players. We only talk about, the ones that we highly remember. Anyway, people, we're back to 2024. Good jump from then and good discussion. Like Mattel, Paul Hall play in the Shell Cup. All right, you hear that? So, hold on, let me get back some business now. All right, people, hit some like button. Hit some likes, please. Shower curtain. All right, people, what me asking? We're talking about playing style. You see, there's a lot, and I keep saying this. We can always think about what we would love to see and what we want to see. Mm-hmm. I mean, Frank. Remember Big Frank? All right. Yes. So, let me ask you now, the playing style that we want to see. You would the great Mclaren, yes, be able to carry us through. You see, one other thing I want people to look at, and this is how I am looking at it. This is how I am looking at it. Now, if you're gonna look at Mclaren stint with England, it makes no sense because that was from 2007. Even if you're gonna look at it with 20, it is way back. What I am simply saying, and what I want to bring across is that over the years, the fact that he had so many experiences dealing with different situations, yes, dealing with different types of players, different conditions, different FAs, different management, different presidents, if you want to put it that way, different fans. That's another important. Those are important factors for a coach. Can he use that experience now to bring to hold everybody accountable in Jamaica? Because you see, right now, we have a 20, and at one stage we have 31 people on the line. Yes, the views gone over 100 people. So a lot of people come in and come out. When me I try to say now, come September 6th, me I go see how many of us really going out there. And you know what me I go do, people? Me I go ensure so me have at least 4 tickets I give away for the match September 6th. And anybody win them, people, you have to collect them at the stadium. And then we say, all right, come a match. I'm saying this to say because many of us are not supportive of our system. We support if we, you see, and I understand, people overseas, fine. I don't expect if you travel down, cover September 6th match. That's, I don't expect that. But the local people them who will talk and talk, including myself, will you go out and support the boys? We can't have home games, people, and you don't have fans. So this is one of the things that, and just like when I say, I want to hold the JFF accountable, I want to hold some of our fans accountable to local, our best players. That's why our league in the world is over 140 in the world. Hey, Conrad, so you kind of mix me up. I don't know how me read that one. I know. Yeah, I tell you. That's why our league is. All right. So, yeah, man. So, now, what is it that we are expecting from Mclaren? Are we expecting to see now a sort of passing game? Are we expecting to see a midfield that sort of coordinated? Yes. Are we expecting to see a quality center midfielder coming? Are we expecting to see Coach Mclaren say to JFF, listen, I need Leon Bailey? Or are we expecting Mclaren to say, it doesn't matter who you give me, I'm going to work for it? Jamaican fans want to stay home and watch EPL. Yeah, but EPL won't be playing on that day, Lee. EPL won't be playing on that day. You know? As a matter of fact, you will not have an international game while these club games going on. You would have to have breaks. So that's no excuse. Yeah. So now the exposure and the experience, so we say, Coach McLaren has. If it is that you're gonna use his stint, let's say, as an assistant coach of Man United, and people, my little research that I have been doing over the past couple of years of managers and coaches. When you have a manager, yeah, and Paul explained all of this to us recently. Manager manage all the affairs of the club, yes, in terms of football. When you have a coach, the man is the coach or the assistant coach. They are the one who actually do the work on the field. You know? Of course, with the instruction of the manager. And that's why managers have their backroom staff for them to go everywhere with. So they know what to expect, they know what to do. Unfortunately, this coach coming without that backroom staff. See? But if we are to go by what Mclaren did at Manchester United last year, that would be a true suspect. Because there was no identity in Manchester United playing style or managing the football. The players were just, I don't know. Big up yourself, Bob Campbell, aka Program. What's going on, bro? Long time. I see people remember, you know, if you want to come and in the studio, you know, and come go and meds, you know, no problem. See the link there? Link I will post in the chat so you can jump on it and come in the studio. As I say, we have half an hour to go, people. We now go past an hour and a half tonight. All right. Christine, I have Frank Sinclair, Reggae Boyz jersey at home. Oh, yeah, say Conrad. So you're born in it, Conrad? Sorry, me just give trouble. Yeah, man. So, yeah, so back to the playing style. Now, everybody expect. This is what I want to know. What are your expectations? Are you expecting to see this magical play? Yeah, from this coach. I tell you. Go on your bed. Come on, man. No, you got church tomorrow, man, but not so late. You can brandish another half an hour, man. Yeah. So what me I say, no, people, we see the midfielders that we have in the current setup. So this is my big thing. I think that is where we need a lot of work to be done in the midfield. Offensively, we have very good players offensively. I think we need that. I mean, I'm not sure if we'll be able to, or if he'll be able to maintain his position, his fitness, and so on for the next 2 years. In Antonio. Antonio is a good player, good forward, strong. But I'm not sure he'll be able to manage through it because he's getting older and the injuries are piling on him. This coach just come with him too long hand to collect our money and leave after 2 years. Mr. Lee, I think that is a bit harsh right now to say. I think you need to give him a little time. Give him 3 games and then you start criticizing Lee. We have to see what he make out of. As we say, no, people, we have certain things that we can look at. Yeah, man, I was at the stadium at jump fence when we qualified for World Cup. You can imagine all me. I climb over a wall with ticket in my hand, bridging, can't get it. Oh, God, those were the days. You think me that do it now? You think so? No. Me I did it for early, so me would do it now. Ah, boy. Listen me now, man. No, gone. Listen now. No. Oh, boy. All right. Let me read it, sir. All right. John Sinclair, Daryl Powell, red card against Argentina, and Marcus Gale came after qualification. Frank own goal, Sinclair. All right. Mr. Lee, do your research before you talk. That's a big deal here, sir. All right. Any CDM out there we can get? There's one player that the JFF was looking at in England. What's his name again? I soon get it to you. The problem with him, there was an issue. I don't think the JFF wanted to pursue him because of some baggage that comes with him. And there's another one that I was told playing in the Scottish League. Hey, people, you know, so sometimes we just look on England. But there was a player, midfielder, I was told. And me happy you asked that question. Let me note it because I need to do some research on that guy. I heard of a player playing in the Scottish League for a Scottish League that do. I don't know, a Scottish Rangers. Check it out. But there's a player who played last year for Rangers. I'm not sure if he's still there. Hopefully he's midfielder that they are to look at. Yeah, man. Clive Smith, Tyrese Hall. All right. Hey, listen, no, man. May I tell you something? You know? I tell you this. I think the big problem we have is that we never went out for a center midfield. A matter of fact, how we were recruiting players based on name and what they were doing for the club. So we see an excited player in Demali Gray. We see an excited player in Leon Bailey. Not saying I recruited, let me just say that. We see an excited player in the guy from Man U name now, who Mason Greenwood, that we just get it. But people, we can't continue to just go and get excited players. We need to get players to fit what we want. Yes, and I hope that's how Coach Mclaren looking at. Right? Dujan Sterling. Where Dujan Sterling playing? Bring me up to, let me see if I can find him. Yes, so you see, when we have all sort of things, wow, the guru is here, people. We have the guru in red. Blessings.
Good morning.
Never walk alone.
Good evening. Evening for honor.
a good night for you, man. Good morning. Respect, Paul. What's going on? I never expect you coming on tonight, you know.
Oh well, as I say, them all man problems, you know.
So you make sure you check your system every time you get that issue.
That's it, man. Just check my WhatsApp and saw the links. So I thought, yeah, let me jump on a little. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Respect, because we have probably just about half an hour to go at most.
That's cool. That's cool. Yes. That's cool.
So we're having some really discussion here. And it is Rangers. Oh, okay, yes. That's it. I guess that's the player I'm talking about, my boss. But I'm gonna go back to the drawing board and do some work. Yeah. So we wasn't supposed to be there. We should be Japan, really. Look at where Japan is now. But when I come off a 98 thing, bro, we need to move on, you know. So we have Guru and I'll figure some big information. We have one big question for you asking, and he better answer me good. Because Steve McClaren, I want his coach, you know, people. Man, we coach Derby.
True.
So him rating big time. The only local born player going to make Steve team is Blake and Leon Bailey. Oh Lord. Well, boy, this is a very good point, you know. Entertainment, big up yourself. Overseas players will always be our best option. And the truth is, while we want to see local based players, if we want to compete at the highest level, we have to have players who compete week in, week out at the highest level. Remember, as a national team, you're not training every day of the week. You're not playing every day of the week as a national team. It is with the clubs. And if you're not playing at the highest level regularly, then we will have problems. This is very puzzling. What the league has to do with you representing your country you were raised in. All right, let me explain when I talk to you. Aaron, the JPL is not the highest level of football in world football. As a matter of fact, there are so many things that hinders performances in the JFF, in the EPL. Not the EPL, the JPL.
JPL.
Yes? No, you tell me, Oris, and you're not living here, but I know you watch from time to time and you listen. Look at the players who we boost, who we think are the best players in the JPL. Where would you put them in the Jamaica setup? That
in the
is it.
Jamaica setup, or comparing them into the English setup?
No, we're not comparing them. I'm just saying we have a national team, we have a Reggae Boys team now with a lot
Yeah,
of overseas based players. And he's
yeah.
saying because RN is hoping that him see more local based players. We want them. But are they the best comparing to what we have?
It's very unlikely that you'll see that increase, because okay, here's the comparison. Let's say, as an international nation, that Jamaica are on a similar footing to, say, Wales and Scotland. Yeah, could we say that?
Yes.
In terms of population, probably similar in numbers, in the few millions. Okay. So straight away, as we've discussed before, you've got a smaller pool of players to pick from. But let's look at Scotland as a good example. Scotland have a player called Scott McTominay, who plays all his football in England, but he plays for Scotland.
Yes.
Nobody has a problem with that. In actual fact, even though he gets a lot of bad press, he's actually in recent games been one of the best players for Scotland, but he doesn't play in the Scottish League. And another player, if you look at John McGinn, plays for Aston Villa, plays for Scotland, and our own left back, Andy Robertson, plays for Liverpool, but plays for Scotland. Now, I can almost guarantee that those players, let's take Andy Robertson for examples, came to Liverpool from Hull City, a team in the Championship, but has gone on in his time to win Premier Leagues, I believe Champions Leagues, because he's playing for a better team. And that's the issue. If you're playing your football week in, week out at a lower level, and I think without being insulting to anybody, we would accept that the JPL on a week to week is not at the same standard as the Premier League or the Championship, maybe even League One.
Yes.
So that's then your level of player. So as a coach, you're always going to think, okay, what's my shortcut to getting a player at the level I need them to be? And like you've said, Kev, you've only got the players for a short period of time. So you're not actually the coach responsible for making them better. You're the coach who's actually responsible for putting them in a system that hopefully makes them successful on those international camps that they have. You're not with them day to day. So you've got very little influence over those players. What you're looking for is the level they're playing at week in, week out.
Yes.
That makes the difference. And if we look at the English national team, this is why a player like Jordan Henderson got dropped from the last squad, because where he was playing, Saudi, transferred to Ajax, to the Dutch league, couldn't get his match fitness or his levels in time, and he was dropped. And so that's the point. A nation the size of Jamaica, and when I last checked, back in, not to go back too far, but facts are facts, the highest ranking we had was 27 FIFA World Rankings, and that was in August 1998. Our current ranking is 59 as of 18th of July 2024, the latest FIFA rankings. So we're down there amongst the what you might call the smaller nations. And for me, it would be foolhardy to then disregard players who can make the team better in the short term. As I said on the last conversation, what we need to do over the prevailing 10 to 15, this is not a quick fix. Yes, you want Jamaican-born players to represent Jamaica. Everybody does. But that's going to take a generation of improving coaches, improving facilities, and improving the pathway that in turn will improve the JPL itself.
True.
And when that's better, you'll be producing better players day in, day out. Then you can have more concentration on locally grown and locally born and locally coached players and coaches. But until that structure improves, if you want for Jamaica to qualify for the next World Cup, we're going to have to dip into the Leon Baileys, the Damari Grays, the Mikel Antonios. There isn't a choice, because no disrespect to any Jamaican player playing in the JPL, but the level just isn't there overall. You're going to have the odd one or two who come through and shine, but en masse, the level isn't there.
Right. And I say this to say, Paul, the EPL that we have here in Jamaica,
Mm,
yes, the clubs people, the clubs are not doing enough for whatever reasons to develop these players. We're
mm,
expecting, players to develop from a club level, whether it want
yeah.
to be youth team or to their senior team. Whatever it is, they don't have the facilities, they don't have the money to do
Hmm.
all of that. And if you notice, in the JPL now, we only have Premier League teams. You don't have no under 21s like before. Remember that,
Mm,
people. Yes, we don't have these little leagues from the different levels. So the players are not being developed coming through. And a lot of
mm,
people is depending on schoolboy football to develop players,
mm,
which is no. So what I'm saying is that we need the players who are represent, we want to see in the World Cup, we want to play at the highest level. They must be playing at the highest level at all times. And this is the reason why I would say we pick
mm,
out the few players, are those players who we say playing at a high level, the standard I will say, who are doing a very good job in their, one club in the JPL, week in, week out. Give them an opportunity so they can learn and they can come up, because at some point they need that exposure.
mm,
And we can't get it from Jamaica every year. They need to go somewhere else
yeah.
where that level is being playing. So fine. But I do understand that, people. Yeah. People, the messages are coming fast and furious. So I'm just gonna post them and we just jump on them. Paul is here again, people, just to give us some. But Paul, the question I want to ask you:
Mm,
our coach now, Reggae Boyz coach, Steve
mm,
McClaren,
yeah.
your respected English coach, he says he'll be only taking one assistant with him, which is a goalkeeper coach. What's your take on that?
Well, again, different coaches, different managers, they have their different structures. You've got to think Steve McClaren's slightly of the older school, you might say. I think he's 63 years old now.
Mm-hmm.
Very much of an era where the manager or head coach, but more he's more manager, you might say, would want to have ultimate control over everything. And again, that would say to me that McLaren's looking at, if you like, getting down and dirty, being on the football field, being on the coaching field when the Jamaican players come together. So if that's the case, he's thinking, maybe I don't need this entourage of coaches. Because let's be honest, in the modern game, we now have throwing coaches, free kick coaches, corner coaches, which all used to be done by one person. So some of that you don't need necessarily. We don't know what the budgetary restrictions are to how many people he can have in his team.
Yes.
But at the same time, let's remember, it's not a day-to-day job in terms of football coaching. A lot of an international manager's role is ambassadorial. So he'll be traveling around Jamaica and the world, promoting the JFF, promoting the Reggae Boyz. That'll be a massive part of his role. And then when the team meets up, then getting them together and putting them into a formation and a style of play that can garner some success. So it's you don't necessarily need a big structure. I mean, as much as I say that, if you look at the bench at England, they seem to sometimes have as many coaching staff as they do substitutes. But then the English FA is a huge FA. It's, very, very rich. So it can afford to have the likes of ex-Dutch Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank on its coaching staff and many others.
Mm-hmm.
It has that luxury to have a striker coach, and things like that. So again, it's not a bad thing necessarily, but he will need support. But then at the flip side is that may create opportunities for the right Jamaican coaches that have got those coaching badges and levels to step forward. Because again, if he's got a 2-year contract, let's say he's got a 2-year contract. Let's say he gets Jamaica to the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
And Jamaica do whatever, either stay in the group, don't get out of the group, or get to the last 16 or whatever.
Yeah.
The likelihood is the country and the JFF are going to say, oh, do you want another year? What, another 2 years? But in his planning has to be, who comes after me? Has to be. Because he's not a pickney. It's not like he's a 40-year-old coach. He's 63 years old. Do you know what I mean? So by the time of the World Cup, he'll be 65. So he's not going to want to be like Roy Hodgson and coaching until literally man gets took off a football pitch not well, and then his career ends. That's terrible. You don't want to be doing that. You know what I mean? Football's changed, like you said in the show already. Football's changed, a different game now. It's a big time different game, and even for the coaches, you look at a lot of the successful coaches now. They're like between 40 and 50 years old. It's not old man's game no more. Do you know what I mean? Because of how football's changed and people's mentality of football is different. You know, first and foremost, your footballers today are athletes. When you get them little stat packs on and you download their stats, geez, what the running they do, they're some of the fittest athletes in the world, footballers now. It's completely different. Back in the day, 60s, 70s, if you had skillful feet, that's fine. You didn't have to run. You didn't have to be an athlete. Now, that's the standard. The first thing they're looking for is athleticism. And that's where Jamaica have the advantage, because we're naturally athletic in the Caribbean, naturally. So then what we're looking at is, can he get a tune out of players? You know? And like said, you know, Jamaica overall, back in 98, sorry to step back, but we didn't have an amazing team overall, but we had a team that came together and we had a little bit of quality. Like, you know, I know I'm going to put him in there, but we had Burton in there. And sometimes, you know, like any team that's been successful, you've got a goalkeeper that can stop shots, you've got a centre-back that can defend, and you've got a striker up front that can finish. And that gives you half a chance. It's half a chance. And you look at Jamaica at the moment, you've got Mclaren tearing up trees up front. That gives us something. You've got skills like Damari Gray, gives us something. You've got Leon Bailey, and you've got some very talented young Jamaican players as well. So, you know, there is the recipe. And I'll tell you something. Mclaren wouldn't take on this job if he didn't think he could be successful. You know what I mean? Like, do you know what I mean? So he would have done his due diligence and thought, okay, what have I got in the Jamaica squad now? And he'd have done a little bit of looking around and thought, okay, what else could I probably bring in here? What other players might I be able to talk to and convince them to come to Jamaica? And I'd hope to think he's also done a little bit of research on the JPL and seen what's kicking around there. He wouldn't have looked at it and thought it's a mission impossible. He would think this is possible. Yeah, he'll back himself as a coach and think, I can organise these guys better. I can get them playing better. Yeah. That's the first thing he would have thought. And then he's thinking, can I add a little bit more in and quality? You know? What's this one? Big deal, Ian. Local players is not good under this coach. You're going to drop dead because you're not going to see no local players. This coach going to pick his best players so he could talk to you till you're blue in the face. Well, we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. But you see, this is the point I'm trying to make. Mm-hmm. You've got to look big picture, okay? For the short term, you might have to bring in more internationally based players. Yes. Because what you're trying to do is lift the level of the Jamaican national team that pulls up the whole of Jamaican football. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Because once the national team's doing better, women and men, then you've got more girls, more boys wanting to play football. You've got more sponsorship coming into the game in the country, and then providing that's fed through in the right way to grassroots, you've then got the opportunity to improve the levels. But this is why I say it takes a generation, because those players that are 6, 7, and 8 now, you need them to be having better coaches. But those coaches have got to be trained. They've got to be qualified. They've got to do badges. They've got to do and learn what it is to coach and how to coach. It can't just be because that man in the village has a bag of balls and some markers makes him the coach. No. He's got to learn how to coach. And it also needs to be the right person, because coaching is a skill that not everybody's blessed with. Just because man's got a few footballs don't make them a coach. I'll come back to saying that. So you've got to have the skills, you've got to have the ability, and even more important than that, there's a certain skill set it takes to coach young people. Yeah? Bearing in mind that when you're coaching kids, you're almost like one of their surrogate parents, because they will come to you the problems in their life. They will come to you the difficulties they're facing. And you will have kids turn up who've got no socks, no shin pads, no boots. What are you going to do? Turn them away? That might be your best player for a generation.
All right. So, Paul, you know, we're looking at all these things and talking about, as I said, my topic tonight. There should be no, you know, excuse for Mclaren not to take the Reggae boys to the next World Cup.
Yeah, has to get
saying
them
that to say, I agree. Saying that to say, that is his ultimatum. That's what JFF said. Listen, 2 years, we need to get to the World Cup. Good. That's one. But looking above what we want to get to the World Cup. That's one. Yeah, and no nothing else right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned the age of Mclaren. So we're not expecting to see him for another 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
Good. So his job is to take us to the World Cup. The players that we have, and a very good friend, Devon Porter, said I'm gonna give me a class with some players that are available to us internationally. Paul, I don't know how much you're following those players who are in your neck of the hoods who can represent Jamaica. But what we think, what I think is we need an overall midfield. Not necessarily gonna throw away all our midfield players, but our
Mm-hmm.
midfield need an overall.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen anyone in England? No, Paul. Yes. You go far as Scotland. Yes, in the
Mm-hmm.
league. Have you
Mm-hmm.
seen anyone out there who, especially for a center midfield, 'cause we don't have a center defensive midfield right now,
Okay.
who can dictate the pace of the game? You see, I hear anyone who you think we can drop?
It's a
Or you
good
would
question.
recommend Mclaren?
It's a good question, and you've caught me out because you didn't prep me for that one. But off the top of my head, I can't think of somebody. But what I will say is you're on the right path, because if we look at the modern game now, the modern game, how it's changed. So we've talked about how the players are athletic and they're athletes.
Yeah.
But what we've also talked about is we're in a generation of possession football where teams are playing 2-3 touch max and moving the ball quickly. And to do that, you need midfielders who can receive the ball under pressure and play the ball out. You also now have to have 11 footballers. Your goalkeeper needs to be as composed and as competent on the ball as any of the outfield players, because the ball will go across the pitch, back to him, out, in, out, etc. And you see how many times teams go all the way back to the goalkeeper, pull the team out, and then play around them and score a goal. I mean, Liverpool, we do that a lot. You know what I mean? We suck the teams up and then we hit them. So off the top of my head, I'll do some research for next time I come on.
Okay.
I'll do some research and I'll have a look, because you're right. It is where a game is won and lost nowadays. That quality in the midfield is so important. Yes, like you said, if we're playing like 3-5-2 and you've got left back and right back attacking, that's fine. And you've got your tree hold in the middle, that's your defence. But even now, what happens is your left and your right back go high past the centre line. And then your central centre back will stay middle, and then your left-sided centre back hits the touchline. Your right-sided centre back hits the touchline to the right. So they split quite wide,
Yes.
and then your left and right backs push on high. But in the middle, you need ball players. So that gives you the width, but then you need the ball players to retain the ball. And if you don't have that, then the game breaks down, and especially at international level. I go back to the Euros. Look at the smaller nations. They were killing some of the big teams because they were matching them for fitness, and their ball retention was good. So these are the things, these are the aspects where if Jamaica can match the USA, the Mexicos, the Brazils, the Argentinas, when they're playing in these South American tournaments, then they have a chance. And that's all they've got to do. That's the very smallest thing they have to do, is just on a physical match, because you will have players. We've got players in that group already. I looked on Wikipedia because it's official now. Steve McClaren on Wikipedia is the Jamaica national coach. It's there. And I also had a look at the squad. I thought, there's some footballers in there. There are some footballers, homegrown and from the English leagues. Well, I say English leagues because Damara Gray's playing in Saudi Arabia right now.
Yes.
But we've got some good players. So it might be that what we had before, because again, I'll go back to Aston Villa. Unai Emery took over pretty much the same players as Steven Gerrard. And look where he's took that team. So sometimes a good coach can make all the difference, because especially as we've said before in previous shows, today's football game is not about shouting and screaming at people. It's about the skill of man managing and individually understanding the difference between players and motivating them to be their best. And that's the difference. And that is where Steve McClaren has his strength. But I'll do some, what we've got. Dwight, yes, okay. Thank you, Chris. You helped me out. You got me out of jail there. So Dwight McNeil's a good one. Dwight McNeil was at Burnley. He's now at Everton. Left-sided midfielder. Probably more attacking than defensive, but would definitely add something. Morgan Gibbs-White was at Wolves. I think he's moved to Nottingham Forest. And very exciting player. Very exciting player. I heard rumours that even Liverpool were looking at him at one point in time. But that fell down. Ben Godfrey, yeah. Cameron Archer. So yeah, really good names. The one out of all of the two out of those four for me is Gibbs White and McNeil. Now Gibbs White, in terms of holding midfielder, he's ready. He's ready made. He's ready made. Okay. Maybe we should hand out an olive branch to Calvin Phillips. You know what I mean? Because he can't get him for Manchester United, he can't get him for England. Maybe he should switch nationality. Give him a shout.
Yes. I'll ask Mclaren to give him a link.
That's it, you know what I mean? Because to be fair, all joking aside, because when he was good, he was good. He was good for Leeds. But he's made a move that a couple of players have made. I mean, there's a couple of lads who left Leicester after they won the league and went to Chelsea, and it ruined their career because they didn't play regular.
Listen,
and, you know...
Chelsea, that's what I don't like about Chelsea Football Club. Once there are other teams interested in a player,
yes,
Chelsea make sure him get them.
Yeah,
them no want them, just to ensure that they don't play again.
Correct.
And they mash them. Listen, that is Chelsea and Man City to some extent.
Yeah, they just hoover them up to stop. Because you're right. Because again, Calvin Phillips, there's talk about him coming to Liverpool at one point. That transfer window, there was talk said that, and like you say, City just come in and stole him away and mash up his career. So yeah, there is that. But as I say, I am excited for the Jamaica national team because that's a good appointment. It's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but in terms of what he's done in the game, you can't argue with the man's CV. You can't. Yes. There's very few other candidates from the pool of candidates. Sterling ain't going to switch. Sterling ain't going to switch from England now. He's got too many England caps to switch to being a Jamaican player. I would be amazed. I'd be amazed. Mason Greenwood comes with...
Well, you know, every time you touch me, they laugh, I don't.
Oh Lord!
What Jamaican fans want Mason Greenwood?
Well, listen. Right, I remember back in the day, even Liverpool's own Jan Molby having a time in prison and then coming out and going back to being that great midfielder that he was. So you know, everybody's got a right for redemption. You know what I mean? Course. It's a very controversial one, Mason Greenwood, but you can't argue on the pitch. His talent, you can't argue with. People have done
worse than what Greenwood did.
God.
And we're given the arms, so I don't see why we can't give Mason a chance.
True. That I will say that yes, some people have what's the word? What's the phrase now? They've been welcomed back with open arms.
Yes.
And they've done a whole heap worse. What I'm saying?
Kevin. He's cap-tied.
Cap-tied. Him
we know that. Chelsea
it's true.
Players.
It's true. Chelsea do. I mean, listen, Chelsea have got one of the best young recruitment departments bar nobody, and they literally go around the world, and anything that's like 12, 13, 14 that's decent, they hoover them up. And then half of Chelsea's on loan to all the rest of the leagues. But they do that. They're probably not so much in a... Well, then again, Todd Bowley's coming, so they've got money again. But yeah, Chelsea are renowned for that. Chelsea are renowned for that. What you said, Devonport, the Smith Rowe cap tie. Smith Rowe, he's been in the England squad. He has been in the England squad. But, you know, I think there's a period of time where you have to not play. I'll have to check this. I'm sure it's something like you have to not play for a national federation for a certain number of years. That kind of neutralizes you, and then you can change. You know what I mean? I know it's not a popular one with the fans. Fans go crazy when that happens.
Okay.
But again, the nation size that we are, we can't really be too choosy. But there are some lads there who haven't had senior caps, and we've got to look at them. We've got to look at them because, again, 3 years. There you go. Thank you, Christopher, for that. If you look at, say, again, look at Greenwood. I mean, even if he was going to go for England, left-sided attacking player, look at what's in front of him for England. That's a non-controversial choice. So you've got to think about what the player's own ambitions are, and it could be a backdoor way to having, one, international football, but two, playing at a World Cup. Which, let's think about it, when you're an up-and-coming footballer, one of the things you must dream for is playing for the club you love and playing in the World Cup. So if you can find a way to get there, you know, then why wouldn't you do that? So again, you look at that, and I mean, geez, the names that were mentioned there, that was nearly 11 players right there.
Yeah, true.
Do you know what I mean?
Listen, so I was going through a list, Paul, trying to get it up, but somehow I'm not finding the list here. I think I had it on the phone. It's not going up now, people. And Devon said that he would give me some. But there's a list I had with some, I think it was 13 players who have not yet represented Jamaica, who are English born of Jamaican parenting, who qualifies to play for Jamaica. Now, let's say, would you think it would be a wise move right now for us to take in more than 4 other players from England at this stage? Because right now, Paul, I think we have a nucleus of players who we have been with. And to get another 6 or 7, you know, may disrupt the gains that we have made.
It's a fair point.
So I believe right now we have to think carefully, what is it that we want? Not because they are available. No. Because guess what, Paul? Don't get me wrong, people. Antonio might not be at the World Cup, you know.
That's a good point. What now?
He might
34, 35?
Yes.
Yes, that's another 2 years.
So
and like you say,
and with injuries. With injuries and playing week in, that's a good point. So right now, people, we just need to concentrate for the next year, yeah? For this level of qualification. And if needs be, those players who may left us because of injury or old age or form, loss of form, then we can, you know, look to recruit to fill those positions. But I don't think right now we should take on to another 6 or 7 players. That probably will put us in more problems.
I think it's a really good point, Kevin, because, and again, this is the skill of management and coaching, because you have to look at your incumbent, you have to look at what you have already. And whether you're Championship, Premier League, amateur, if you make too many changes, it upsets your flow. If you bring in too many players, it upsets your flow. And sometimes, just because a player looks really good, doesn't necessarily mean they're going to work in that team unit that you've set up.
Bless yourself.
You know? So again, that's where you have to really consider. And the other thing you got to think about as well, like Gareth Southgate did in terms of reigniting the passion and the love for England with the England fans, Steve McClaren has to be careful. What he doesn't want to do is alienate the Jamaican supporters. If anything, the flip side, he wants the Jamaican supporters to come back to the Independent Stadium. You know,
exactly.
He wants that. So you've got to have a bias to the local grown players that are good enough. I'm not saying just put them in because they're Jamaican. They've got to be of a standard. You know, you've got to be of a standard. But again, this is where I am quite sure. I mean, okay, let's look at the Olympics today, right? Got the 100 meters.
Oh, Lord,
women.
Paul, why are you going back there, Paul?
No, I have to, bro. I have to, because it helps my point. Because you're talking about a nation. How many people in that nation? You're not even talking the millions. You're talking the hundreds of thousands. The hundreds of thousands, you know? And so this is where, again, I keep going on about it, but the grassroots of football in Jamaica is so important. So important. And this is where Mclaren and whatever staff he brings in have a massive opportunity to go out to the schools, to go out to the districts, albeit with the potholes, and find that talent that might be undiscovered in the country. Because I can guarantee you there's players that haven't been discovered in your country. And that's because the structures aren't there to bring them through necessarily. So, again, it's about that work that needs to be done. Will he recruit players who are good enough but not actively playing for a club? What you mean, like Southgate did with Maguire
and Shaw?
You know what? In truth, I don't think Jamaica need to go down that road. I think Jamaica have got enough players who are playing actively and regularly that they don't need to bring somebody in who's not getting playing time. Don't need to do that. Don't need to do that. There's enough quality that's playing, albeit in different leagues around the world. As I say, Damara Gray's over in Saudi, swelling up his pension pot. Probably not the best level of football, but he's playing ball. And maybe if he gets because I mean the guy's still young. He's still like 28. He's 28. So maybe there's a season or two back for him in the Premier League for a team in time to come. But at the moment, he's just filling up the bank account. I can't blame him because football's a short career. You never know when you're injured and you're done. So,
I just want to ask, listen, man, I need some likes. We have far more people than likes we have. Just hit the like button, man. Not take nothing off now. Come on, hey, you know what, people? As of next week, a different thing I'm going to start asking because I don't want to give you the likes. I don't want to share the thing. Then what, man? Come on. So now join the show. I'm telling you, say 1.5 hours, so one of me. But thank you very much for joining this late time, people. I soon go, but hit the like button, man. Trust me. Let's go. Hit the like button. Yeah, man.
Like and subscribe. It helps us, bro. It helps us. You can't imagine how.
Score.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, it's that. Yeah, I mean it's early days. It's early days, but the local players. What? Go back that comment before. Sorry.
Which one that?
The local player's not good enough. Only Leon Bailey. Yeah, well, I mean, local, but now he's classed as a Premier League player, But I suppose what you're on about is somebody English-born with Jamaican descent. Listen, it's the reality of football. Like I said in a couple of shows ago, you look at the German national team, you look at the French national team. Most of the French team have all come from African descent or the African continent. They're not native French players. I mean, there's a few that are, but not, some that aren't. The German national team, they've got players in there of Turkish descent and other backgrounds. So that is international football.
So Chris, I say Revel
Morrison. Woo, yes. Gee, I dig one out there.
He doesn't have a club.
Jeez.
But I heard he's now with Mount Pleasant. So he's with a club now, if that is the case. Hey, some information going, yeah. You don't like that one, eh? Let me see who want to hit you hard, Paul. What's up with Revel?
I think the time has passed for Revel personally. This boy had the opportunity to be amazing. A bit like Nile Ranger. But some guys can't leave the road life alone. Or the road life won't leave them alone, You
think that's Revel's problem?
Listen, I don't know the kid, and I wish him all the best, but all the talk I would hear come out of Manchester United is that Ferguson tried his best to get around him and just couldn't. So in the end, have to let him go. Sometimes people don't recognise in their life where they're starting life that they've left it behind. They've moved past. They've gone clear. And
we have to read this. Where I say, Horace, not only you alone, Mr. Sadi. Other YouTubers got my like, whether I agree with or what they are discussing. All right, my boss. Thank you. Yeah, man, it's important to like up the show, man. Trust me.
Yeah, man, it helps.
All right, so give me some more. Continue, people. Continue the likes before you leave. You've quiet tonight. Paul, Ravel Morrison from Man U camp.
True. See it there. And while we're talking about Man U, they did well in the friendly they played against Liverpool this evening, eh?
Stop show off, man. Mr. Liverpool, man. You know, show off. I was giving the score earlier, but I mean, there was it's a catwalk game.
And in fact, Arsenal did well as well, didn't they, earlier in the week?
Well, I hope you can have some mid-table, Not mid-table, but when it comes January, February,
We'll be all right, man. We'll be all right.
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
man. The Dutch boys got us. The Dutch boys got us, man. We're all right. We'll be fine. We'll be
Right,
fine.
man. Yeah, you know what I think is, people, sorry if I butt you in, because we are Liverpool fans, we get caught away sometimes. You know, we get caught up with the Liverpool fans.
Indulge ourselves a little
I want
bit.
you to forgive us, yeah? Pessoa is here, RR is here, and quite a number of, but don't worry yourself. But it look exciting to me. You know, there's a lot of
Yeah,
things
man.
that he's trying. That's one of the things that, you know, I would have said I would give him a tops. You know, he don't reach club level yet. But one thing I like about him is trying different things. You have seen different style, different types of play, unlike the big boss club.
Mm.
Which
And-
you know, I don't know if he has time to effect all of them, but let's see.
Entertainment, great point. McLaren is technical enough to not need an assistant coach. 100%.
I hope a mistake you make and put this already now. Okay.
Assistant. That's,
Hey, so far it's a friendly. So man, you a friend, not the FA Cup.
Do you know what? I love that lyric, you know. Assistant Roach, you know. Whoa, whoa.
You know, people, it's one of the things that is very exciting, you know, all the discussions around the thing. And one of the things that I would love to hear are to see the JFF put out, maybe, well, let's give them some time until that first press conference. And I hope when the press conference is called, I am right there so I can put in my few questions. And people, if you put some questions, you know, say, all right, listen, I'm going to send me number. And the questions you want to ask, if you don't want to ask the question, because I'm going to the press conference. Yes? So you all can share with us. I'll ask these questions on your behalf. Yeah, man. So when you're ready, you can post a few questions to the number via WhatsApp and we read them. Or if you want to wait on another particular show for us to go and discuss
Kevin,
them.
Conrad makes a good comment there, you know. Conrad make a good comment.
What him say?
Ravel, having not played for 2 years, is still better than some of the players that's in the squad.
You think so?
Listen, Ravel's talented, man. He's a really talented footballer. But it's whether he can get his head in the game and be fit enough to play at a decent level. And only he can decide that. Only he can decide that. But I think that's a really good point because he's got natural skill, natural ability. But it's can he be fit enough again? Because when you've not played football at the highest level for a couple of years, it's hard to get back to them levels. So that's about his motivation.
I want thing when people rate them play and chat so serious.
No, I know it's Sunday and man, I go to church, but you know what I mean? Over here it's Sunday already. You have to blaspheme, Conrad, you know. Gee. Yeah, man. Indecent, man. Indecent. Good baller.
Good player.
Yeah, man. Good baller.
I like him, but I think he's a little bit too slow, a little bit too lackluster for me.
I just wonder, again, with 2 years out of the game, it's a long time to be out of the game at the highest level, and not necessarily because of he's not been out because of injury, just because he can't play for whatever reason. To the best of my understanding, I don't believe it's injury. I just think he's not been able to find a club, and that might be because of the baggage that comes with him. Because
it's a personality issue.
See it there, you know what I mean? Because look at it now, you know, players have got socials. Players are a product now. They're footballers, but they're a product.
Yes.
And as a result of that, some clubs are like, okay, look at our team, Liverpool, sponsored by Nivea, sponsored by Chartered Standard Health, and this and that. Clubs look at all of that because it's the optics of how it looks. And that's why I say the Mason Greenwood thing, because the issue with Mason Greenwood is then because of what's happened or what was alleged.
Yes.
Okay, because let's remember he was cleared, wasn't he, by a court of law?
He's cleared. He's cleared.
He was cleared. However, you know how the press stay, you know, mud stinks, you know. And the issue you'll have there is the campaigners saying, can he be in the same space as young players? Can he be in the same space as women having been alleged of doing this and that and so on and so forth? And you've got to think, you know, Jamaica national team sponsored by Adidas, one of the biggest global sports brands in the world. And so it's all those factors. It's not just the football side of things. Like we talk about football's now $1 trillion business, not even $1 trillion, trillion pound business worldwide. It's big business. You know what I mean? Big deal. And the thing with those sponsorship contracts is, you know, about the right faces being at the front and centre and associated with those teams. I mean, I would have never thought in my lifetime. I can remember as a pitney, can't wait to buy my first Gillette razor, and I would have never thought in my lifetime that man like Raheem Sterling and Ian Wright would be the face of Gillette. I can remember them adverts used to have no black faces on them at all, and now they have two prominent black faces. And so this is what I mean. The marketing side, the sponsorship side is huge. And sometimes, you know, Mclaren might get a message saying, you want him, can't have him. You can't because of what comes with him.
Yes.
You know, so that's an aspect we have to think of because football is big business. And as I say, if I go online now to buy Jamaica home kit or Jamaica away kit, 100 UK pounds. Never in my lifetime did I think a Jamaica national kit. Just the t-shirt, not even the shorts and socks, would cost £100. So that tells you where even Jamaica, at the ranking we are, where we are in terms of the global game, you know? Too many fans on Ravels.
And it's, if you were to ask me about Ravel, I don't think I would include Ravel in my squad, right? He'll have to be playing. He'll have to be playing, and, you know, the time, he's gone past his best, no doubt.
Yeah, 100%.
And as much as we believe right now, based on what we knew about him, that he's better than our locals, fine. But he's not playing any competitive football. Let me not say competitive football, but he's not playing any high standard football for me to include him in our national setup that we want to develop or to get better. Yes, so that's fine. Good player.
And here's the thing, Kevin, he's 31 years old now. Ravel.
Yes, exactly.
He's 31. He's not that young kid that everybody's still thinking just breaking on the scene. But if I look at, right, I've just brought him up on Wikipedia, right? And this in itself tells you the issue. So, senior career, Manchester United, 2010 to 2012. From there to West Ham for 3 years. From there for a season on loan to Birmingham City. From there to Queen's Park Rangers. To there, Cardiff City on loan. Then he spent 4 years in Lazio. So that takes us up to 2019 because he started in 2020. Then he went back to QPR on loan. Then he went to Atlas on loan. He went to Osterand, Sheffield United, Middlesbrough, AOD Den Haag. I don't even know where they played 4 times for them. He was at Derby County for 36 appearances and then at DC United for 14 appearances up to 2023. So you're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 teams. 14 teams in a 13-year career.
Jesus.
That's too many. Too many. And that tells you something. There's a really personality issue in there. 100%. In fact, funnily enough, the place where he stayed the longest was Derby with 36 appearances. But he was at Sheffield United for a season, made 1 appearance. 2019 to 2020. He may not have been there for the whole of the season, quite possibly. It looks like he went on loan to Middlesbrough, made 3 appearances that season. But that's unusual. And let's look at that. He's been in the Premier League. He's been in the Italian League with Lazio. Osterand, don't even know where they're coming from, but there must be like Norwegian or Sweden or something. He's been in the MLS. He's been in the Championship. So he's tried different clubs.
Yes.
He's tried different leagues. And again, couldn't get more than 36 appearances with 1 club. So, you know, and as I said, his star has kind of gone, unfortunately for him. You know? But it's a shame really because he was a talent. He was an amazing talent when he was younger. But at 31, he's not the answer. He's not the answer. You've got to be looking to the next generation. You know, got to be looking to the next generation. Big deal then, one Mason Greenwood. Everybody Mason, you know. Oh, no. And this is it. Sofa Scout, you're 100%. The backlash from the do-gooders. You know what I mean? It's a hard balance. I don't know that Steve McClaren wants that kind of headache. I can't see it personally. But it's a shame because you can't argue with the boys' footballing talent. You can't.
Well, you'll sell me jersey.
What does Clive mean by that? Does Clive mean he'll buy a jersey, or if Graham gets in, he's selling his jersey in protest? What do you mean?
I think, you know, if based on our Jamaican fans here, you know, on the ground, if a Greenwood should come in the setup, there's a lot of jerseys will be sold. Yes. You know,
Really?
yeah, man.
Okay.
That's my take. And, you know, I
Okay.
think the
That's
fans here
interesting.
want to see Jason Greenwood in the setup.
Mason, yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
That's
Mason.
interesting.
Outside of what happened, and, you know, we want to see. I would love to see him, but I'm not sure that right now, you know. All right, guess one of the problems that I'm having. Mason Greenwood to come into Jamaica team with a Leon Bailey. So let's say we have two players on that area.
Left hand side.
The left hand side, the right hand side.
Oh, you want
Go
inverted?
down
Okay,
yeah,
start right,
inverted
coming left.
and cut
Yeah,
it
yeah,
down.
yeah.
Tell me, how easy you think it will be to keep those two players happy?
Again, you're just making a headache for yourself. You know what I mean?
So these are some little things, yes?
Yeah, man. Yeah, you're just making yourself a headache.
Hold on. Big deal. Are you saying that Steve McClaren turned down Nigeria 2 million offer? Nigeria 2 million? Give me the note that you're talking about. Is that £2 million offer? What is it?
Yeah, man. If you got the link to that story, I'd love to see that one.
Yeah, I'd love
to see that one.
I've heard it that he turned down Nigeria to Jamaica, which that is one of the reasons why I embrace this move. The fact that he would have said, you know, put that aside and come to Jamaica. But who knows what would have given that? Maybe, because we don't hear how much Jamaica pay me now. We don't know how much we get.
Well, this is it, exactly. and we've already spoken about how much he was earning as an assistant coach at Manchester United. I would argue that to become a national coach of Jamaica, he's probably took a drop in wages.
He has to. And I don't think...
You know what I mean? Because Jamaica ain't got that budget.
No, and I don't think any national team will be able to pay what the club teams play.
No.
I don't think so.
No.
It's a drop. I think it would be a drop in wages. Yeah?
Why are we talking about Bielsa?
In his... I don't know. That one hit me. Come again. We don't want no local assistant coach. They're not good enough. Chris, you're so terrible on the local people, bro.
No, but you know what? No, but Kev, Chris is being honest. Chris is being honest. And the thing, listen. Sometimes you have to be honest. And and in that honesty comes some brutality, because the truth is sometimes what it is. And you know yourself, you've been in football, Kevin. Sometimes, even though you have to do it in a nice way, if a player's not good enough, you have to tell them.
Because you call me night, pal, you make a wrong move by calling me night to me into football.
Go on, no.
Because you can't tell me as a coach that I'm not good enough.
Yes, I can. That's my job. That's my job. That's my job.
That's bantering, bro.
No, man. No.
You're bantering, bro. What do you mean?
Listen, we had a friendly just the other week.
Yes.
And at the end of the game, I said to the lads, I said, listen, some of you need to go away, and if you haven't bought a football, buy a football and bounce it against the wall. So your control is better and your 5 and 10 yard pass is better. And I told them straight, we'd lost the friendly, and some of them were there looking for coach to kind of boost them up and tickle them. No, sir.
So me ask you, if they had won, what would you say?
I'd tell them same way.
No, you wouldn't. It's because they lost why you did it.
Kevin, you don't know me, bro. I'm tough.
I know
I have
you
high
are,
standards.
Paul, but no,
I have high standards.
Yes, the standards is good. High standards is good. But that most times these comments would have come off the back of defeats and poor performances.
Sir.
Yes.
No. I'll relay the truth.
Why you never told them that before? Why didn't you tell them that before?
I've only been with them a few weeks and they won't train midweek. It's a whole issue that the coaching team have.
You should have mentioned that before the tournament, before the game. Then I will understand.
No, they already know what I expected them. And I even finished it with saying, "All man stink, go and have a shower," because some of them come to football and now I wash. So I don't ramp. I'm old school.
Like Steve. Steve.
You see it there? Yeah. You know what I mean? Maybe some of the Jamaican lads need a little bit of cane and meat to stick. Maybe they need a little bit of whipping to get into shape. You know what I mean? Because I tell you what, you can soft listen, I can do the soft soaking. I can do the psychology and match my personality and what I say to everybody and be strong on the hard ones and soft on the soft ones. But sometimes you have to just say to man, Go wash. Sometimes you have to say to a man, go and practice your first touch. Go and
And that's
practice your
fine.
5-yard
That's
pass.
fine.
You know?
But I'm just saying no. Saying to me as a coach that I'm not good enough because I'm Jamaican. But I say the question, are you talking about it? And Chris, I'm just saying this. Listen, don't think that I am saying we should have Jamaican coach. That's not what I'm saying. I think we need to get the best person in the best for the right job.
I like what Big Deal I say.
That's why we keep it up so long. I want you to see it.
So what I'm saying is, Greenwood's behaviour in Jamaica, that's acceptable, but in England, it's not.
No. I don't think he's saying that. But that's not what he's saying. But all he's saying.
But you see the controversy it causes.
No.
You see the controversy it causes already. You know what I mean? And I'm not even in the squad yet. Jesus Christ.
Well, no, I don't think that's what he said. But anyway, the fact is, the man is saying Mason Green
that's exactly what I said.
Is one
he
of
must
ours.
say this is not England.
No, he's saying that this is not England based on what people may think.
Exactly, which is what I'm saying.
Yes,
like what he's basically saying is Jamaicans are going to say, "Yeah, man, that's all right. Why are we doing that's all right?"
No, we're not saying that's all right. That's not what we're saying. We're saying is because he's Jamaican, we want him in our show. England don't want him because of what he did.
Correct.
He did what he has.
He was serving time. He was exonerated. Moving forward.
Exactly.
Yeah, the British press won't do that. They won't let it go.
So that's why he's saying that that's not England, and we're not England. So we're saying, if he was guilty, yes, he was. He was. He served.
He was charged.
He was charged. And then because he was made a free man, why should we keep him out in the cold?
Correct.
Yes.
And the other thing you've got to think is as well, let's be honest, right? So Jamaica is a religious country, it's a God-fearing country. And don't we all have the right to repent and have another chance? You know what I mean? Because none of us are perfect. We all make mistakes. You know what I mean? So isn't there a point in time where we should be given that chance to overturn the wrongs that we've done and move forward with our life? You know what I mean? Every one of us deserves that redemption, no?
There's this one question I want to pull back up, and it's coming from the fact that you mentioned that the Jamaican coaches are no good to be an assistant. Yes,
I didn't mention that.
Yeah, man. Yes. Well, that's what he said, and you said that it's true. So I said no, I can't take that because you're saying to me that I am no good. Fair, but all I'm saying is that I think in everywhere we go in football, if you want to develop our football people. And we can't continue to go this route. 2 years before World Cup, we get serious. We can't do that.
No.
We need to get serious from day one. So every time there's a tournament come up, we are ready to take it on.
Yeah.
Yes? That's what I'm thinking about. No, people, I can be very controversial. I don't like the controversial stories. That's why I don't carry every story. And a lot of things goes on and I don't put my nose in it because listen, I don't like controversy. The point I'm making is though, while we have international coaches or foreign coaches coming in, we are here and we expect to learn from them. Am I right? Players, coaches, administration alike. We are expecting to learn from them because they're coming from higher levels.
Correct.
But how do we learn if we don't get the opportunity to be with them?
Absolutely.
So we need to have, similar to like we have Mclaren with Hal Grimston. I'm not saying that we're going to have Mclaren with Mclaren. It could be someone else. But how much of an effect would that be effective? The fact that Mclaren was with these guys for a long while, could that be a positive going forward? Or should I say, maybe Mclaren was not a good setup with those guys? I don't know. I'm just saying. Well, if those are the instances, or those are the situations that we have to look at if we want to move forward. Now, can we say, well, Mclaren got 2 years. Let's bring somebody else to get another 2 years. And so with everything and everybody learning, then we can push. But people, I want to say this, as much as names were not called, there were some other local coaches that was all around the setup, believe it or not. Some persons were doing some other things. I know national coaches, I know local coaches were there dealing with data settings. So they were learning how to capture and use data. But they were not highlighted. They were not broadcast to say Coach Dick or Coach Harry was there, but they were. So I'm saying, it doesn't matter to me. Get the best one out of the pack, or the best two, Let them learn along the way. They might not have to
Mhm.
be assistant coaches,
But get them in the setup is what you're
but
saying.
get them in the setup. But the
Yeah.
problem we are having, there are coaches that believe that they are the best coaches, and some of them are not even good coaches.
Hmm.
So the
Hmm.
egoistic thing, and say somebody selects Saudi Crest because I'm gonna vie now. I'm gonna apply for one of the position up at JFF. They're telling us straight people. So if it's a voting thing, you vote for Saudi Crest. I think I have something that I can offer to JFF.
Of course.
I know, and seriously.
I'm not saying you're not serious.
And I'm saying this to say, Paul, and fans, I'm not looking at a paying job. I'm talking about some simple things that personally I know I have the capacity, not just to
Well,
fix, but to work with.
Kevin, let me talk about this because this is the bit I get passionate about, which is the legacy and the infrastructure. And this I've already spoken about this even in this show.
Yes.
And the important thing is what the point you're raising is absolutely crucial. And this is something that the FA has addressed over the last 10 years. As I said, tomorrow I've been invited to a coach development session with a coach tutor from St. George's Park. And he's meeting with a few local coaches to do some coach education in real time with a team that's training. And he's going to give us some bits that's going to help us as coaches.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not at St. George's Park. That's at a local park where a local team's training.
Yes.
And that's what has to happen, is that the opportunities for amateur coaches to get information from coaches that are working in the game day in, day out, professional level, that has to trickle down. And that's what I'm talking about, the infrastructure that the when Mclaren comes in, it's beholden on him to say, right, I'm not just here for the first team, the Jamaica first team.
Mm-hmm.
I've also got to look at the structure of football in Jamaica. Because let's remember, 2 years is quite a long time. If you've got like a 14 or 15-year-old that's amazing, in a couple of years' time, they'll be the age that Pele was when he played in the World Cup. Look at Lamar for Spain, 16 years old. So it's beholden on him to get out there, not only to look at players, but to look at coaches. What are the coaches doing that are bringing the players through? Because, again, we all know about Jamaica, blessed with sunshine, okay, the occasional storm, but generally blessed with sunshine and the strong vitamin D, the higher capacity and propensity of fast twitch fibers in our muscles. The
Yes.
research is there. So the natural athleticism that we have is there. Okay. So if you've got athletes, then it's just, can you teach them to kick a ball in a way that's effective? Can you organize their shape? But you can only do those things if you've got a flux of players coming up to a level, because when you start at the ground, at the grassroots, at the schools, at the colleges, at university, that the coaching structures there have the right support, have the right coach education. And the only way you can do that is by cascading that knowledge down. So yeah, invite, like I was blessed when Chris Powell was managing Charlton Athletic. I was part of an organisation called BACA, Black and Asian Coaches Association. And we were invited down to the Charlton Athletic Training Ground, and we were able to observe a whole morning and early afternoon session with a professional football club. Now, as an amateur coach, for me at the time, to be invited in and then to be able to just say to Chris, to sit down and see the briefing that they had before the game they were about to play, to learn all those bits and come away with that knowledge, and also have a link to refer back to if I had questions in the future, is huge. And only made me a better coach, because all of a sudden I was like, okay, this is why I need to prepare like this. This is why I need to have a tactics board, because some players I can tell we're playing 3-5-2, but if they can't see it, it don't make sense. You know, in the same way that if you're a trainer within an organization, you don't just train from your voice, you have a slide plaque that you project. You have a printout that you give everybody, because everybody learns differently, and football's the same. And as a coach, sometimes you might have the most enthusiastic grassroots coach, but they haven't learned different coaching styles to capture all the players within their group and get
True.
the maximum out of them. And those are the skills that need to be cascaded down. That's the knowledge that needs to be cascaded down. You know, teaching coaches how to coach different aspects of the game and strengths and weaknesses, that can only come by somebody from a high level coming down. Or if he does it himself, because he ain't going to have the time to do that really, but he needs to put something in place where there are coaches within his setup going out into the parishes and having coach conferences, yeah, and bringing the grassroots coaches together and disseminating information of a high level, yeah, and that will make the coaches better, and in turn the players better, and then over a generation you will see more Jamaican players of a level rising up.
People, I'm gonna ask you, give me 10 more likes right now. I'm good. Let's give it 10 more likes. You know, not, hey, me not normally big, so you know, now move so. We gone all over
Tycoon
time,
asked me.
people. Yes, so
Tycoon's asking me a question.
would you like
Would
to
we
see?
love to see Graham Wood playing for England? I don't see him getting in the England team.
No. I want you to answer the question. Would you like to see him playing for England?
Would I like to see him playing for England? Do you know, truthfully, I'm indifferent on that one because, again, I see football like through 360 degrees. Okay, the game of football as it is now is not just football. Like I come back to say, this big business. And whilst he's an exciting player, and in the Euros just gone, would he have helped England? Probably. However, I can't see it happening. I can't see a period of time where, with what he's been alleged with doing, but been exonerated of, an England coach or the FA say, yeah, come in. I can't see it. Can't see it.
Well, you know, so far as making a point, it's a big deal then. I'm all for giving chances, especially to young players. I'm glad he has gotten a second chance to revive his career with the short
True.
turnaround to the qualifiers that headache not needed. Well,
Yeah.
that's a point as well. But listen, I have a point that I want to say, and this is what you're gonna look at, people. Um, as I say, the Jamaicans are yard egos. Yeah, man, the egos are here, no doubt about it, all over the place. I'm not so egoistic still, you know. Basically, went to Gaffey. You know this, right? You know about this one part when he went to
What?
Gaffey.
No,
Yes, man. The
no, I didn't know
record.
that. Serious,
Yes,
that happened.
I don't know if it was a record breaking sales, but I know
But
that
jersey
he
sales went
created a
through the
whole lot.
roof.
Yeah,
Wow,
whole lot.
wow, wow.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I never know it was record breaking, Chris, but I remember that there was a lot going on.
That's interesting.
Everyone
That's
deserves
interesting.
a second chance, and that's great. Yeah, man. Trust me. And
I
as I
agree
said,
with that. I agree with that.
it's not just the second chance, people. We have to put the reality in. I believe. Listen, I don't. I have to be careful what I say and with certain things. You know. But once a person legitimately, yes, he has been charged, he has served his time, suspensions, and a whole lot of negativity surrounds that. Now, from the charges, then he was set free. I think, people, he deserves a clear chance without any backlash, without anything being said.
Mm,
Yes? Listen, I say this to say, look in your own parliament, right? In your government
mm,
system, how
mm.
quickly leaders have changed and for
Oh yeah.
whatever reasons. Those are
Mm.
9-day wonders. Nobody
Yeah.
speak about them after 9 days. Why? So why can't this young lad be going to continue his career without that sort of backlash?
Well, again, looking at
Sin
what Big
is
Dealer
sin.
said.
Crime is crime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I think what Big Deal says is a good point because, um, you know, no backlash. There's English players that have done worse. There is that, and that's true. There are
Hmm?
English players who've done wholly
Yeah,
worse.
man.
You
I
know,
love
so
English players. English people. Big people too.
well, see it there, see it there. So it's yeah, man. All right, it's true. My I've got they're like 20, 21-year-olds. and a couple of them come to football the other day. This is before we played the game. Lord God, them pink.
Lord, Paul, I wonder what caused that, Paul.
They don't wash, bro. They don't
Why?
wash.
What would have caused that?
I don't know. Poor
Is
upbringing.
it social negligence
Just
and lack of socialization?
some people are just nasty. Some people are just nasty.
No, trust me.
I mean, but yeah, it's that's young boys for you anyway. That's young boys until they really get into girls. They don't understand you have to be clean. You know what I mean? You want to catch a woman, you have to be clean. No woman wants to sit down with a man who's stink and sweaty and thing, you know.
Yeah, they don't know
So-
that. They don't know that yet. But people,
No.
I want to ask this question though, and you can answer in the chat. This is the first. I think somebody has mentioned that we need 7 new players.
Yeah, man. Entertainment.
Yes, I will accept that, but no more people. But what's your take? How many players? And you can put it in the chat, people. How much more players? How many players you believe we need? And again, don't look at the names that are being called. Don't look at the noise. Don't listen to the noise. Look at what the team needs, and then you make your judgment, people.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I want you to look at it. All right. In the Bible, it says not to judge.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is,
There are
like
judgments.
you're hearing, you can't turn off your ears, you can't turn off your nose,
Yeah,
neither.
True.
Is that what I'm talking about? I'm talking about Mason. I don't know. But
Paul, did you see cartel reception?
no, who him? Tell me now. Let me search it.
Vibes cartel. You never hear about Vibes cartel?
No, man.
Oh, all right. He's not a footballer, you know. He's an entertainer. Very
Okay.
popular.
VYBZ, Vibes Cartel.
Yes.
Jamaican dancehall DJ. Wonder.
It was alleged that he, created, or should I say, murdered someone. He was charged and imprisoned for somewhat 13 years.
Okay, I'm
He was
seeing
imprisoned for 13 years, and
the headlines now.
He was freed.
Wow. 2014.
Mhm.
He was freed. So what the story goes, Vibe Cartel was released from prison after he was sentenced back in 2014 for being allegedly involved in the murder of his associate Clive Lizard Williams. Okay. Wow.
All right. But anyway, I don't want you to read anything more on that. We're not up for that today. Craig Butler, Richard Crawford. Oh boy, the girl married Greenwood and move on with their life, and some people don't want to forgive Greenwood.
You know something. Clive makes a good point in the fact that what we're forgetting as well is, as skillful as these footballers are, we sometimes forget they're young men. They're 18, 19, 20.
Exactly.
And
youthful exuberance.
And let's be honest, right? We've all made mistakes in our life. The difference is, for a man of your generation and my generation, Kev, there weren't social media. The mistakes we made, there's no record of them.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
My God, social media is a killer.
You have to be careful, man. You have to be careful. Sits on that IBM cloud forever. You know what I mean? Forever.
As I talk about social media, because people probably watching this, and I said sometimes we have to be careful. Horace, you mentioned earlier, and I wanted to address it. It just came back to me that you heard me say that the local players in the setup should not sing the national anthem when the English players are around.
Why?
I don't remember saying that, Paul, Horace. But let me use this. If I said it, I might be saying that on this, and the reasons why. The national anthem is being played. It was being sung. If it is a song, if the words are being played, you don't necessarily have to sing it. If it is just the tune being played, then you are expected that person singing it. But it is no crime if you don't sing it while it is being played. You get what I'm saying, Paul?
I do. Well, some man can't sing. Some people don't know the words.
Exactly. But I'm saying those English players, they don't know the words for sure. And I'm saying if you have 3 persons singing the national anthem out of 11, it looks away. But I'm saying if it is the words being played, you don't necessarily have to sing it because it is being played for everybody.
Yeah. Well, I think the key thing is when the national anthem for any team is being played, is that you stand there in uniform still, with a respectful look on your face, ready to face battle. I don't think everybody has to sing. Now you see some nations where literally man looks like they're auditioning for Britain's Got
Exactly.
Talent or
I'm saying
Jamaica's
other
Got
way.
Talent. Do you know what I mean? But does that make a person any less or more passionate to play for their team? I don't think it does.
No,
I don't
I
think
don't.
it does.
I don't.
No, no,
It's good
no.
if everyone could sing, but if everyone not singing, I'm just
Exactly.
saying, you don't
Yeah.
have to because the words
Just
are already being played.
exactly. Just stand there respectfully, and then you shake hands with the other team, and you go into battle. That's it. You know what I mean?
You see,
That's not a big deal.
one of the thing to people, local coaches, and I want to see if we can look at the coaches worldwide. Somebody send me this message privately.
Mm.
The teams that win World Cup, are those teams coached by international coaches or local coaches?
Mm. Well, there's been if you look at England, the last time England won the World Cup, that was an English coach.
Yes,
Alf Ramsey,
966.
that was an English coach. If you look at the last time Germany won the World Cup, I believe that was a German coach.
German coach.
Yeah.
All the time.
So
Argentina.
you look
Who was
at France.
Argentina's coach last year?
I believe he was Argentinian, ex-player, wasn't he?
Good.
Yeah.
Go again.
Spain, France,
Yes.
France. You know, so Didier Deschamps is as French as they get. You couldn't get
Brazil.
more, you know, yeah.
So again, people, we you could use, and I said this was a very good comment. You could use that to justify the importance of having local coaches.
You could, but also what you've got to put in the mix that those individuals that we've just mentioned there also had coaching
International
ability
experience.
of correct.
Playing
Correct.
at that level.
Correct.
So yes,
Correct.
so what I'm saying, but the
So you
bottom
can't just hang it on the national thing. But on the flip side, because England went through this, because they had Sven-Goran Eriksson, where England had probably the best team they've had for a generation, and
he
did
wasn't
nothing.
a local.
Did nothing.
He was a local coach? Is that English?
No, man, he was from Sweden. He was Swedish. Yeah.
So here
and
you go again.
Hold on.
This debate
And then
won't stop here.
you had Fabio Capello, who, by all accounts, when you see the interviews of the ex-England players now, they talk about how he just upset everybody, and he was so strict. He just alienated them. He alienated the press, and a lot of what Gareth Southgate done has kind of brought the two back together. The club football feel of England, and brought the fans back on side and the press back on side. And it's no surprise that England are now getting to the deep parts of tournaments. Yes, you want somebody. I said this about 3-4 shows ago. Why can't there be a coach that represents the people, that looks like the people and the team it's representing? But that can't just be anybody. That does have to be somebody with the quality and the attributes to do the job.
Exactly.
They need to be fit for purpose.
Wow, can't believe that's it around. People not easy. 60 people that party. Hey, I wanna come from man this hours a night. I no sleep. I'm gone past my time, people. So
it's Sunday, man. You're relaxed, man.
No, man.
When you're relaxed.
I have cricket tomorrow again. I have cricket. Masters League. I have Masters League, Mclaren tomorrow. So
Grimmy.
Church tomorrow morning, cricket in the afternoon.
Christopher Wright makes a point. Chris.
Yes. So they say Grimmy did go around and met with all, if not most, of the parishes, coaches, players, and administration. You see, that's one of the things in getting people beyond you or behind you. You have to engage people. You can't stay in Kingston and expect the West to come to you. You have to go to them. Let them see what you're about. Let them hear what you're about and your show and your talk and your all of that. Have some sessions. Because I don't think a coach coming in, Paul, and I will give Mclaren a break from this because he has given a 2-year mandate to take the team to World Cup. So he has nothing else to think about. And that them ask him to do. But I think when a coach comes in, and those long-term contracts and so on, he needs to have not just the national team coaching, but you also need to coach some coaches, be a
Yes.
trainers, train the
Yeah.
trainers.
Correct.
Yes, advance, because if we are to reach anywhere now, we need a system not just from the national setup. We need a system where some clubs can adapt, the younger generations can adapt, some schools
And
can adapt.
also a system and a structure that when that national team coach has gone, because let's be honest, coaches will always go and the team will remain. But that a structure starts to be put in place that is the identity of Jamaican football, and coaches come into that rather than coaches bring their identity to that, if that makes sense. Because, like, yes, Jamaica may well change their style of play because Mclaren's in, but
Yes.
Jamaica should have their identity that is Jamaican identity that coaches come into. Yeah, because if you talk about France, we know their identity. You talk about Spain, we know their identity. You talk about Brazil, you know their identity. You talk about Germany, you know their identity. And it doesn't matter who comes in and coaches them, that identity seems to remain. It changes ever so slightly around the edges, but the style of play and how they play and the players that make up their squad, they remain the same. Remain the same.
Big up
You
to
know?
12 Grand CFC. Greenwood will sell a lot of Reggae Boys jersey.
Well,
You know, yeah, but I wonder if all of those jersey, most of those jersey will be sold locally or overseas. That's a question I would want to ask you. Because I am
well,
not too sure that many jerseys will be sold here in Jamaica. A matter of fact, people, you know, say me no wear no Reggae Boys shirt for my show. Well, no,
and why is that?
well,
And
anytime
why is that?
I give you the drama.
Why not?
Anytime I get up, I'll close the show. So I'm not better go for it. But I promise you, the next time I'm gonna show you mine. Twice, Paul. Twice. I tried to buy jerseys here and they were not available.
Uh-huh.
When the Adidas thing came out, none was available in Jamaica when I went to the JJ.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
So I went ahead now and I bought order online. People may tell me the truth. I order extra large.
Mm-hmm.
Small come, bro. You can't put it on.
What you mean to say it was extra large but it come up tight? I just send the wrong size.
I was telling the wrong size, bro. Small, listen.
Let me
So,
just well
I've given it to the first lady. So, but I'm saying to say that's one of the things, people. Me not have luck ordering nothing online. You know, I don't know why. But the truth is, even this part, Paul, you
go
see
on.
this Liverpool shirt?
Yeah, man.
See this one, it was given to me. Who bought it for me from England? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Clinton bring it down for me. So he bought it.
Clinton, okay.
No,
Well, maybe that's the way.
I ordered.
Maybe
No,
that's the way.
hold on. I have another one. Yes, that I asked a friend to order it from me in the
Mm-hmm.
US and get it with my name in the back.
Yeah.
Same size, and trust me, it can hold
It
me.
wasn't the same. Seriously. It's huge.
Yes. So I have to know I'm gonna take it to the tailor to do some adjustment.
Yeah.
And that's like $120 US, bro.
See it there.
And I
I
can't
think-
wear it. So
Yeah.
listen, this is one of the things, people, I want to say that. Will these jerseys be sold in Jamaica? How many of us will buy them?
Interesting.
I think they will buy them when we are closer to the World Cup.
Yes. When the buzz comes.
Yeah, man.
Yes. When the buzz
we
comes.
have to
Oh,
Hello.
Ronnie bad, you know.
Listen. Me not even
Ronnie
read it, you know,
bad,
because
you know.
me not talk no politics, you know, bro.
Ooh, Ronnie's bad. You know what I mean? Mm-mm.
To be honest, his own girlfriend have moved on, and should we? Yeah, man, no doubt about
That's a
that.
good
So we're just
point.
going through this, people. And then we
Entertainment. Wow. True. Bombs dropped there, you know. and what some people
What's
might have
going
missed.
on, Paul, with that? Oh my
Well,
God.
it's still going through. It's still going through the legal process. But what did
You
happen
take
this
another
week?
2 years, right?
2 years and a whole heap more. Listen, that's going to be tied up for a whole heap of time. That ain't moving on anytime quick. But something that did happen to Man City this year,
Very good
this week,
point to
I beg your
entertain.
pardon. There was so Man City have been accused of delaying the kickoff of games 22 times. And this
Exactly.
week, they were fined £2 million.
2
£2
million.
million. £2 million.
That's like chicken feed.
Oh, listen, that's
That's
petty cash to them. That's petty cash. You know what I mean? That's not hurting them. That's not hurting them.
no, you can imagine people. That is serious. Anyway, every team is recruiting players. Of course, I've seen some players, Paul, we were talking about some of those teams in the Euro. I was
Well,
going
look at
through.
Germany. Kevin, look at Germany, right?
Mm,
Musiala could have played for England, but he's playing for Germany.
yes.
So every national team is now looking at all the lineage of all the
Laporte
players.
too.
Yeah,
Laporte could have played for France.
yeah, yeah.
Oh. Hey, let me tell you something. We are beat up ourselves about this whole heap of foreign base play and all of that thing. Foolishness talk about no, this team move on.
Kiss my teeth, move on. Listen
Yeah,
to
move
it.
some brother. Take your time, man. Take your time. Take your time. Take your time. Yes, I would like to say, although England has closed the door on Mason Greenwood, all is not lost for Mason. I would urge the Jamaican fan should accept him with open arms and give him a second chance. Listen, me not busy about you know. I don't know what kind of second chance you know what I talk about. Me not busy for first, second, or third chance. If he's good enough, bring him come to Jamaica setup. That's all me I say. Yeah. No. Listen, that's just it. I am just saying, listen, don't look about all these things. That pass and gone and whatever the case is. People, we need to understand ourselves. So, me no business a first or second chance. I don't think we are giving Mason. I don't think Jamaica would be giving Mason Greenwood a second chance. No. It would be England giving him a second chance, not we. We don't have
Yeah,
anything to do with that jurisdiction.
it'd be a
Am I right?
first chance. We're
Yes.
giving him
So
the first chance.
if he is good enough, and I believe he is, bring him in.
Mm.
If the coach wants it.
See
Then I
that,
mean,
Devon? Devon's welcoming him. Devon's already ordered his shirt, look.
yes, man. Better second choice goalkeepers. And I'm saying that to say no people. May I tell you the truth? I'm gonna say this. Me not too in a Blake. There are two players on this Jamaica setup, one. But honestly, I don't mind. Me glad when me not see them play. Me now give you the reasons. But I was happy at some stage when Messi Blake now play. I'm glad the other day when Messi Blake now play. I'm glad when Low now play. And I have one reason for that. I will share it at another time. Chris, let's say Messi would be the best to play for Jamaica. Would be well, let's see what happens. But I think so. We welcome Mason Green to Jamaica, respectful. Yeah, man. I welcome him too, Scolani was born in Argentina. The Champs was born in France. But that's the whole point. That's what we are saying. Those coaches are homegrown. Ricardo Fuller as a coach in some capacity to learn off Steve. I don't hear anybody talk about Ricardo Fuller. And Ricardo Fuller has been doing some coaching in England. Right, Paul?
Good shout. Yeah, it's a good
Yes, he
shout.
has his badge. At one stage, he was a bit a little chaos at one stage. Some controversy with him running away some players and so on like that. Some indisciplinary actions, yes?
Let me
So
do
he's
something.
strong. He's strong. He's a strong, maybe as strong-headed as you, Paul, and serious. But can we really compare our coaches to those nations? No, we can't, Chris. We can't. But it is what we have. England fans that want to see Mason Greenwood play international football, the National Stadium welcome you, England fans. When they buy them ticket come and match, they think when they come watch it on TV. When I say no match over England, if you buy them ticket come watch match. Including my big host friend right now and my cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we give them accommodation. Buy no ticket come. No local coach /coach should be allowed to coach your senior team. England come watch Mason Greenwood playing. Hey, you know what that bad? If we play England now friendly and beat them with Mason Greenwood, I'll score.
I mean, Ronnie's just dropped a bomb in there, but if people aren't given the chance, how can they get to be in there? So again, it's about coach development. That's got to happen, and if that happens, then the local Jamaican coaches have the opportunity, because it's the same thing over here. where friends of mine that have finished playing, they're not even looking to go into football as coaches because they feel the opportunity to manage even a championship team, let alone a Premier League team, just isn't going to be there for them. So they're like, right, I'll go in a different direction, punditry, or set up their own academy, or just buy and sell property, or anything but football. Because, and it's a shame because you've got all the legacy of the career that they've had and the experience and the knowledge they have, and yet still, I mean, it was only the other day, a man like Jermaine Defoe, like, you know, look at the career Jermaine Defoe had, you know, international player, absolute goal machine, and he's struggling to get a job as a coach in football.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so again, you've got to give people the opportunity, and you know, sometimes you've got to see it to be it. So again, this is where, from my point of view, and it's going to take a generational cycle, but for young Jamaican coaches, what's going to be better for them when they see somebody that looks like them coaching the national team, and they then think to themselves, if he can get there, so can I. What's my pathway? What do I need to get there? What have I got to do to get there? But again, the support has to be forthcoming to the local coaches, to the PE teachers in the schools. There's got to be that structure. And at the base level, they've got to work through their badges to get the coach education and knowledge that gives them that level, that when they go to the next level, they're not at their depth.
Yes.
You know? That's the important thing.
Yeah, man, we need a stronger pool. New coach, new style. The team is already disrupted.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, to some extent, I believe that.
Yeah. I mean, the appointment of Mclaren is an opportunity to press a reset button for the JFF and say, okay, we've got a new head coach with prestige and a good coaching history. Let's try and disseminate some of that quality down to the lower coaches, to the coaches in the lower levels of the game in Jamaica, to the grassroots of football. Can we get that knowledge cascaded down? Because if you do that, then everybody's improving. Everybody benefits. The coaches benefit, the players benefit, and in the end, the national team benefits.
So right. Clive Smith.
CONCACAF A and B license.
All right, about the CONCACAF A and B license, who teach coaches in Jamaica? All right, so there are a pool of coaches who are few with A license and B license. They are the trainers for trainers, if you want to ask me. So they would have gone to the different levels of coaching in CONCACAF to get this authorized. And all these persons are have a level of education and teaching background. All right, so right now, off the bat, I can tell you, Downswell, Speed, Vassal Reynolds, Andrew Peart. Well, I think there are three more. I think they have about 6 or 7 coaches who actually teach the coaches in Jamaica and the A and B
educators. Yes. Coach educators.
All right, so these are qualified persons and they are good coaches. I mean, sometimes, you know, people, you may look at it this way, and Paul can tell you, probably the persons who are the coaches, educators, are not real coaches in England. Am I right, Paul?
It's true. It's
just
true.
That they are educators and can bring across some levels.
Exactly. Yes? So a lot of the coach educators that I meet from St. George's Park, they're ex-teachers, and that's no offense to teachers, but they're good at coaching or teaching somebody how to coach. But if you were to actually put them on the pitch, or when they show you the drills, you're like, you don't even play football. You can see that from how they move. You're like, you don't even play football. And that can be a problem because, again, if you've sometimes got these guys coaching coaches and the coach like, I'm not buying into what you're saying. I take a different stance. When I come against these kind of people, women and men, who I can see aren't football people, they're just doing a job, I just try and take what I can to make me better. Whereas I know there's some people who just shut down because they're like, this ain't a football person. Why am I listening to them? So that is an issue. But all you can do is get the information you need. And again, what I'd say to those guys and girls listening, there's a lot of resources. I don't think it won't open in Jamaica, but on the FA.com, there's loads of online resources where you can improve your coaching. There's practices, there's plays, there's drills you can do. So again, it's beholden on a coach to improve themselves, to have the right resources, to make themselves as good as they can be. Now, it might only be that the peak of your career is that you're the best coach in that district,
Mhm.
but that's fine. That might be your level. But then there might be another person who gets the Jamaican national setup. But all you can do is prepare yourself as best as you can and be the best you can be. Like my young boys have got a game this morning. In about an hour or so's time, I'll be getting together everything I need so that I'm ready as a coach to give them the best opportunity they can have to win the game. I won't be bringing soap and shower gel. I should probably, but
Mhm.
no, from a football side, I'm making sure all my water bottles are clean. Got my nets, got my coaching book, got my notepads, got spare pens, got my balls pumped up, got my markers, got my bibs for warm up, got everything. So I do my preparation so that I can be ready and I can give them the best. And that's our kind of what we have to do as coaches and as managers is make sure that we step to the table ready, yeah, and give ourselves the best opportunity to give those young people the best opportunity. And that's our responsibility. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah.
You see, Paul, one of the things we talk about coach, as Conrad say, PE teachers. I guess he's answering the question who teaches the coaches. Yes, most of them are branded PE teachers, but they are active coaches in their own right, people. They are some of the most qualified coaches. And if you look at the teams that they are coaching, you could see that they are some of the better coaches we have in Jamaica, some of the more experienced in terms of getting or changing things around. The fact of the
Mm-hmm.
matter, I don't want people to get this thing wrong. I believe, it is so it is. No, it's not only in Jamaica, Conrad. I can tell you that. If you go to Trinidad, it's the same set that Trinidadian doing it. What I'm simply saying is that being an educator and a coach, there's some level of respect shown. There's some levels of what would I say now, responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
An educator, not everybody can teach.
It's
You
true.
get what I'm saying?
It's
And
true.
people sometimes believe that because you find yourselves in the classroom, it is one of the easiest things to do. No. Yes. And to coach or to teach people who you believe know it already. And people who will tell you that they know more than you. Teaching those type of people is one of the most difficult things to do.
It's true.
Yes. And
It's true.
I will tell you, I've been in the courses, bro, as a teacher myself. Yes. As a coach I believe in myself when I'm coaching. I always see my youth, yeah, my players, whether it be female or male, moving from one step to the next. And I'm not talking about moving from under 14 to under 16. I'm talking about develop. When you see my team play, you could see identity. I'm not show up, I'm tell you, because I don't go into a competition wondering what my team will do. I can tell you if my team will do well and how well they will do.
Mm-hmm.
Preparation and based on what I have. Yes,
100%.
I know, and I used to be. There's one coach that I've said, Mr. Henry says, trust me, he's a coach, JC. He's in the States now.
I
That
think we
was the,
might be having some network problems, Kevin, because your sound is just it's going a little.
now hearing me?
That's better. That's clearer. There was a little bit of
Okay.
feedback coming.
Oh, all right, good. So, maybe it's the time, me gone almost 3 hours, me plan to go 1.5.
Sorry, my fault, bro.
No, man, it's not your fault. Look at the show, 56 people still on there.
Yeah, man. Big up 56 people,
So,
man. Yeah,
bless up, man.
respect.
Gone over 500 views for the night so far.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. So, as me I say, a big thing. But, me I say this to say, people, and I want to give more respect to some of these people who are putting it out, giving a lot. I can tell you, I have learned every time I go to one of these places. I've learned. I
Well,
remember I've
like,
gone into a course with some Germans. Yes, when we were doing first year, and me I tell you, big man. You see, and that's what the thing is. I've gone into took the course with some Germans in first year, and believe it or not, they were not the best. The guys who were doing it from the local level were far better than them practically and theoretically. So you can't just believe that our own local people can't do the things. You're a PE teacher, my bad. No, I'm not a PE teacher, bro. I'm not a PE teacher. And I probably find myself you know, when I was coaching, I was one of the real upcoming coaches. No doubt about it. I could have been further, but you know, me take the educated line. That in the classroom hold me back.
Well, I think the point that also needs to be made, which people probably don't realise because they see the money and the glamour of the Premier League in England, and they think that that is all across football. You know what? Respect, Michael. Evening. It's the truth of it is, as an amateur coach, the journey is very hard. I just shared a link with one of the groups, WhatsApp groups I'm on in the UK, about a coach's bursary to help grassroots coaches fund the first steps into being qualified coaches.
Yes.
What some people might not realise is that if you do your entry badge, you're talking about a couple of £100 UK. You do your level 2 and it doubles ish. So you're talking about maybe £500-600. If you then jump to what is now your UEFA B, which was UEFA B, so your level 2 is now your UEFA C. But your UEFA B, you then go from a couple of £100, which you might even be able to scrape together yourself, but you're then talking about £5,000 UK for your UEFA B license. And if you're a person who is just a working person working with an amateur team, you're not part of a semi-professional or above club, you've got to fund that yourself. And so that's a massive hurdle to coaches going from what is your level 1 and 2, which is very much all you need for grassroots football. You don't really need much more than that for amateur football. But if you want to progress as a coach, even to have a career as a coach, you've got to have your UEFA B. And that's a massive hurdle. You know, that kind of money is a massive hurdle. And that's why, or what happens then, is a lot of coaches just stay at that amateur level. Not because they're not good coaches and they haven't got the ambition or design they want to, but financially, they can't make that jump. They can't make that jump. You know, I know some guys who've gone either to the Welsh FA or they've even gone over to Spain because it's cheaper for them to do their UEFA B in Spain than it is to do it in the UK. And that's crazy.
Oh.
But that's where it stands. And so it's a massive hurdle. And so I can completely understand why you, Kevin, would have gone down the education route, because that's going to pay you a salary. And as an amateur coach trying to get into the professional game, it's not going to give you a living. It's not going to give you a living until you get to the highest heights. And that's a hard journey as a coach. It's hard enough as a player. It's even harder as a coach. It's even harder as a coach.
That's the reality. And listen to the question that Michael is asking. Can you express what it is like? Yes, is this gaining the B license and the rigorous as it relates to youth development in Jamaica versus England?
Well, no, because if it's your B license, the B license is consistent across the world. It's not like there's one for South America and there's one for Europe. It's the same B license. It's internationally recognised. And then if you want to manage a football club, you then have to do your A license and your pro license above that. So they're internationally recognised levels, which the idea behind them is that somebody interviewing for your job can say, right, this person understands football to this level, to this point. They can coach to this level, to this point. And they're consistent and internationally recognised qualifications. And that's why they exist. So that there's a standardization across the globe, because football's global. And so these qualifications are global. It's the same, the qualification you do in Spain is the same when you do in Wales, as you do in England, as you would do in Jamaica or CONCACAF areas. It's the same qualification.
1 second. Paul, the feedback is still on?
Yes. Yes, bro.
Still?
Yeah, it's quite bad. You sound like a Dalek from Doctor Who.
All right. Let me change my microphone.
All right.
And tell me what's going on.
So yeah, Michael, it's a great question. I'll keep talking while Kevin's doing his technical bits. So yeah, it's a great question, and again, what changes when you go to your B and your A license? So you then start to learn more of the technical aspects of the game, understanding players. You start to understand, rather than just coaching somebody, say pass a ball backward and forward or whatever, or you You're then talking about possession, breaking the lines, how you set up a team in possession, how you set up a team out of possession,
All
and
right,
and the
Steve.
more tactical side of the game is what you're learning, and how you relate that to players. Um, in terms of youth development, because I actually did my youth modules 1, 2, and 3. At that time, it was a completely separate module of education that sat outside the level 1, the level 2, and at that time UEFA B license. So since COVID, there has been, if you like, a refreshing of all the coach education, and they've rejigged what sits where and so on and so forth. For example, if you wanted to do goalkeeper coaching, that's a specific development course separate to U1, U2, U1, UEFA C, UEFA B, and A. There's a whole separate pathway for developing goalkeeper coaches and coaching goalkeepers. So, again, it's been revised. It was on pause for a long time after COVID. There was no coach education at all. Even the online resources were paused. But now it's back open, and like I say, I'll be attending something on Monday. A couple of weeks ago, I was at another coaches conference again, learning bits and pieces. So it's constant. The improvement is constant. But again, the challenge is if you've got somebody who's played a lot of football, is fitting in the time, because as you move up the levels, what they expect you to do is have your coaching delivery evidenced. So a coach educator will come and observe you to mark you off. Well, the difficulty is that's often at weekends, and a lot of players will keep playing until they're in their middle to late 40s. So trying to balance that is very difficult, especially if you're not in a semi-pro professional setup where you've got access to players 2, 3, and 4 times a week to be observed. If you're an amateur coach, you might get your lads once a week in the midweek, and then they play at the weekend. So then trying to get a coach down to observe you coaching them to move through the gateways of your coaching is a challenge as well.
Hold on, Paul.
Yeah.
The question is, uh, well, not the question, but Conrad is saying that his son's coaches are more qualified to coach Jamaica. That's sad. What's the level of coaching badge or certificate your son has? And people, you know what I think that I want to I want to assure you, and I want to say to you people, especially those living overseas, please remember where Jamaica is in terms of the world. We are still a third world country. We are nowhere near the resources of the US, Mexico, and so
Mm-hmm.
on. Nowhere. And remember, we're in the Caribbean. What we have here is what we have. Yes? So if people want to go and do UEFA B, where you think we'll have to go and get that done? Not in the Caribbean,
Mm-hmm.
not in the US either.
Yeah.
Must go to Europe. You
Mm-hmm.
get what I'm saying? People, how many persons are we in Jamaica you think a livelihood or somebody's living comfortable of just being a coach?
Mm-hmm.
So for you to think about going to Europe, yes, to do one of those badges, UFAB, for argument's sake, it will cost not just
Mm-hmm.
for the course, but the
Mm-hmm.
entire traveling. So we
Yeah.
must remember Jamaica is Jamaica. And
Mm-hmm.
we will never, not at this time, be at the standard of where US is. We don't have the things that US have. So yes, your sons maybe in US, those coach already have an access to that level of education. We don't.
Mm-hmm.
And the other
And, th-
part,
and and this is exactly where I come to the infrastructure. This is where I come to the infrastructure about that you have to start from the grassroots up and get that base level of coach education in, and then build a foundation on that. And that is going to require funding, and it's going to require bursaries and financial support to those coaches,
exactly.
because a lot of coaches, even if it's their level 1, they might not have the funds for their level 1, let alone their UEFA C, B, and A. And it's not to say that they're not good enough. It's not to say they haven't got the desire and the ideas to inspire and make players better. Because, like you said already, Kevin, it's a skill that not everybody has. Not everybody can be a coach. Not everybody can be a teacher. But if they're not given the resources to excel, then they can't reach their potential.
Again, people, Mr. Garden, and this is I understand where you are going. You are still questioning the skill set of spirit, our spirit skill set to lead Jamaica coaching school. Mentally, we need a higher position coach. in his capacity, and it needs filling plus a technical director for a nation identity. All right, here you go again. What are the qualifications? What qualification do you need to be a technical director?
To be a technical
What is it?
director,
What is the
there's whole there's
qualification?
wholly there's wholly for technical directors in the Premier League that ain't got no qualifications,
Yes.
footballing wise.
So again, people will still have to look at these things. If you're gonna
Mm,
question Pierre's qualification as a lead in coaching or teaching, that's a different question. I can provide that with you. Yes, you could
mm,
ask the questions. You can reach out to JFF because I don't think this is private. The fact of the matter is, what I can say to you, an educational background, qualification, he's not short on that,
mm,
right? And he's up
mm,
there as it relates to the highest level that we obtained in
mhm.
Kankakov. So what I am saying, you can question the skill set based on what you believe or what you think. But yes, if you go further, you'll have to know, get if you want to tell me that because you need somebody with a UFAB to lead that. That's a different story. If you
Mm.
want somebody with a UFAB to lead our coaching, that means that this is the level at which you want to gain, UFAB and UFA. Wrong or right? So based on
Yeah.
the CONCACAF, that is where we are. And the person, there's nobody, people, let me get this one straight. For the A license, nobody in Jamaica is an instructor for A license. All right? The A
Yeah.
license personnel in the CONCACAF, led by a Trinidadian, is a Triniman who lectures who do the A license courses. All right? So, but this is
Mhm.
B license. And it's similar. If you're at teachers' colleges, once you have a level, you can teach those persons below you. So if you go to adult
Sure.
education, if you have a master's, you can lecture to those with a degree. If you have a degree, first degree, you lecture to those with a diploma, and so on. So we are not saying that, so it is this sort of thing, people, that we must bear that in mind. All right. So fine, Mr. Garden, you can question, but as it relates to that, I think he's up there. No, sir, no entertainment. No, no. If you are a local coach, if you're not learning, something is wrong. But I'm telling you, they are learning. And if you're looking at the bulk of our coaching this year, last year, you will see that there's a lot been put in coaching. I think there's a major difference. And I have learned. I have learned. And I think many persons have learned as well. Spot on. All right. Thank you very much, boss. Devon, in Canada, you have to have a B license and you have to do the technical director examinations. That's the
Mhm.
qualification in Canada.
There you go.
Yes, that's what you're saying to us, Stefan. But generally, I'm sure, because I was saying, and part in England, do you have a technical director examination part in England?
Not to the best of my knowledge. These like for example, was it Ian Dowie?
Mhm.
He was one of the first kind of technical directors brought in at Crystal Palace. No, sorry, his title was football consultant. Football consultant. You know
Okay.
what I mean? So there's whole heap of these titles that come in, and yeah, you get some people who have played the game and they have done their coaching badges, and they get to those levels. But there's a number of people in those positions. There's a number of people working in academies who have not got anywhere near the qualifications you would expect them to have, and they're in those roles.
All right. Again, Sir Garden, I think maybe a pro license and maybe marked with an accreditation with a tertiary institution. But of course, and UTech and UE, they have some sports accreditation. A matter of fact, if you go to GC Faster, their accreditation to levels. A matter of fact, the D license, if you leave with a degree studying football, major in football, you are with the D license. But again, we can take this on another note, do some more, and we get it. All right? Very good points, though. Tell them to use YouTube, it will help some of them. JFF, GC, Faster, RU, UTech possibly collaborate to revitalize or upgrade the B license or A license. And the A license must come through CONCACAF people, just like the B license. As a matter of fact, it is A and B coming through CONCACAF. All right?
Hmm.
Very good. Good point. Anyway, people, the next show. I don't even know when I tell no cars on strap me. This is 3 hours. Unfortunately, I won't go another minute, people. But I'm very much so much respect for the time that you show and your presence. All right. So this is where I'll leave you tonight. Paul, your final say. How do we say going to 2026 World Cup with your Sir Steve? What can we expect?
Well, as I said to you on the last show, I think there's no reason why Jamaica can't qualify. Yeah, there's no reason at all. I'm looking forward to watching the path now, as the friendly games come up and as he starts to have his camps. And I think it's an exciting time. It's an exciting time for the country. But again, for me, even though he's just coming to roll, for me, the most important thing he should be thinking about is the legacy. And to start exactly what we were talking about last, he starts looking at the local coaches, their support, what they have got, what they haven't got, because the next generation of Jamaican players will be coming from the parishes, as many of them do now. So you have to look at that resource and make that resource as good as you can. And there's no reason, again, I'll go back to the Olympics, 100-meter women. There's no reason why a smaller nation can't even, smaller than Jamaica, beat Jamaicans, beat the Americans. There's no reason why that can't happen. But what you have to have is, like that athlete had, is a good coach.
True.
That's where it begins. It's where it begins. And that's where it'll end.
Paul, I'm so grateful for your input tonight. It was a very, very long night, and trust me, people, you are so wonderful. I tell you, it was a very, very good night. I have gotten so much out of this, and I want to say to you, the next time we meet, I want you to come with your 6 or 7 players who you believe should in that setup, and we have a discussion.
That's my homework, yeah?
All right,
That's my
that's your
homework.
homework, and that's for everybody. And Devon, keep doing your work. I'm not gonna say who Devon Porter is behind the scene, but you will hear just more when I get him on the show with Paul. All right, so Paul, enough respect. People, respect very much. There are so many names to call. I don't want to miss none. You are all important. And thank you very much for joining. Thank you for staying and your respect you all for your comments, your suggestion, and your discussion. Thank you very much. This is the Sorry Chris Show. And ladies and gentlemen, again, we say thanks.